All right, welcome everybody to the Thursday Night Forum, and I want to say thank you to Tony and Gary for always being here. Stan may join us a little bit later. Alonzo will join us a little bit later, but I have to give appreciation to everyone that comes to watch us live and on rewind. And those of you in the chat box right now, BX Gunners here in the house, and Arsenal Forever. I believe that's Craig, and the Arsenal Misfit here as well. So. Tony, welcome. How are you doing, Tony, on Thursday, this fine Thursday night?
Do you want me to answer that, Ray?
You can politely say I'm doing 5 out of 10.
I'm here.
So you're here.
I'll leave it for the final word.
It is indeed a phenomenal result that Tony is here each and every time. So, Gary, how are you doing?
I'm doing good.
All right. I'm gonna not speak as much, hopefully, tonight, and let you guys do a lot of speaking. How do you like that
this time, right?
Had some dental work. I'm still feeling a little bit worse for wear from it. So we'll get through a few comments
here. You just
here.
had that done by other week. You got more done?
Yep. Arsenal's last defeat to Leeds was back at the back end of 2003. Before we went on that 49 game unbeaten run. And hopefully, Gary, that Leeds can spark another string of games for us coming up in this month of April.
Yep. Just got to win 10 more. That's all. It's not that much.
Yeah, as we
28, so why not just win just 10 more? I guess it's really not even 10 more. It's more
9
like
would be enough,
more.
Gary. 9 wins.
7 more, I think, will do it, right?
Even 7. I think even 7 would be good. 10 games to number 14. So number 14 would be our 14th league title in the history of the game, the English game. So 10 games. The math, we said the math on Twitter, Gary. 10 equals 30 equals 14, right?
It does. Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
Tony, that does make sense, right?
It makes sense as long as you don't consider who our number 14 is. Ignore that.
That has nothing to do with any. Why are you bringing any relevant information?
Yeah,
because he said 14.
No, but as I think about what 14 actually means to Arsenal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. 14 league titles, the third most successful team in England. And I don't know what we can do in this era. If this era is going to begin and we're going to win trophies, if we can win and string a few of these together, of course, we want to start with the first one. Man United on 20, Liverpool on 19, Tony, and Arsenal on 13. We want to make that 14. Try to close that gap.
Yeah, we need to make it 14, 15, 16 real quick. Get all the good players while we can, because Newcastle is going to be winning the league almost every year for a while.
I don't believe that.
They're going to be. Why not?
Because
they haven't.
Because it doesn't work just going out there and getting the top players. That's not how it works.
Yeah.
If it was, then PSG would already have won it, Champions League and all that every season, and they don't. They've had the most money
to play except for the Champions League.
It takes a lot more than just players, and you know that.
Mm-hmm. And we know, of course, from going out of Europe. Okay, we didn't field our best teams in either of those legs, but we know what we need if we're to be successful next season. A lot of work to be done, and that's going to happen in the summertime, but we know what we need to go into Europe and to be successful. Stephen said, thank God the international break is over. Greetings, everyone. Hope you are all good. So also want to speak a little bit, Gary, about the Arsenal women. They won against Bayern Munich 2-0, 2-1 on aggregate, and we're into the semifinals in Europe.
Yeah. I think they were unlucky to come in with a 1-goal deficit, and then they showed in the second game why that is so. yeah, went out and pretty much scored some really nice goals and
Yeah.
kept the other team at bay, Bayern Munich at bay. So worked really well for them. I So yeah, and they're doing this without their two top scorers, right? So if Arsenal was missing, for example, Saka and guess who
Erdegaard,
else?
maybe? Or
Erdegaard, I guess, it's Erdegaard, yeah.
a
How would they?
striker, let's say, and a creative
Yeah,
player, right?
yeah. So if they were missing the top, one of the top scorers in the world and one of the best, attacking players, how would they do? We might do good now in terms of that, but going forward, they had to actually, work their way into this situation that they're at. So they've done pretty well.
Welcome
So
assembled.
yeah,
How
and
about that first goal, Gary?
that was
What a great strike.
a really nice strike. I mean, it's similar. It's similar in the sense that it's a goal almost like Reece Nelson's goal, and just by the time the goalkeeper had a chance to see it, it was too late, and
Hmm.
goal was in ball was in the back of the net. Really nice strike. So yeah, really good. And
And then the second goal, constant pressure. The ball gets reposted back into the middle, and Blackstenius is there
yeah,
for the header, 2-0.
yes,
And
nice.
good value. Good value for more goals than the 2-0, 2-1 aggregate.
Yes,
Um,
yes. And now
so
they get to redeem themselves against Wolfsburg. Was it a couple years ago? Wolfsburg knocked them out of the knockout round. So now it's their
we wish
turn
the
to
ladies.
return the favor and
Hmm.
knock them out with a chance to go to the final against either, what is it?
There's Barca in there.
Barca and Chelsea. Did you see on how
Oh,
when I saw the Chelsea match, I figured they were out,
mm,
but they have a really strong team.
yeah.
So
Tony, any words on the ladies' game? Did you see the quarterfinal? But we are into the semis anyway.
No, I didn't see any of it.
Okay, no problem. Tony, the only thing Leeds are going to spark is doom, but not for us. Hopefully, the only thing Leeds are going to spark is doom, but not for us. Hopefully, okay. Is this Arsenal hat?
well, you know what? All the odds
I
are
think
stacked
that's
against them.
Tom's way of saying he's gonna bring us down so we don't win. But
All right, we'll get into Leeds in a little bit. Tottenham news just gets better day by day. Yeah, that whole Conte thing was quite entertaining. The press conference was a week before him leaving, approximately a week or two before him leaving, and it was good content to listen to Conte dump on the players. No doubt, the only change will be that a coach will come in and things will carry on at that club as per usual. As Conte said, the 14-14 club, here we come. BX Gunner believes, Gary.
No, I just go by how we've been playing. It's been consistent. So as long I haven't seen anything that shows that we're going to lose our way. There's only basically one thing that can affect us, and we'll probably get into that.
Mm,
But otherwise, the way we've been playing, I think we've been pretty much the most consistent team in the league, and that's why we stand at the top. Or if you think about it, I mean, every team's had their blips, but we've had less blips than everybody else. So, I mean, I'll take that any day. It's not pretty every time, but we get 3 points more than everybody else. So we've got 15 out of 15 in the last five. Be nice to be able to do at least another five like that. I think it is, and
yeah,
and then we'll talk about what happens in the big one.
the big one. This month is going to be huge for Arsenal. You can't lose the league. I mean, you can't win the league in April, but you can lose it. Like every other month that we've been
Yeah.
talking about since.
If we were to go undefeated in April,
Yeah, that would be
would be
huge.
pretty. That would be pretty. That would set us
Mm.
up pretty well and give us a lot of bandwidth, a lot of.
Mr. Tom said, my maths on the trip Mondays, that time there was better.
Yeah, as a matter,
Right?
yeah, I don't think so.
No.
He doesn't know his numbers. 1276. This isn't that. That's not how we count, Mr. Tom.
Okay, I'm not even going to go any deeper into that. I'm only here on a scouting mission. Exactly. Um,
You have
I
no answer for
understand.
Sacco. You have no answer for Martinelli. You have no answer for Trossard, Jesus, Erdegaard, Jorginho, or Partey. No answer for Gabriel
Yeah,
Margules. No answer for Ramsdale. No answer for Zinchenko, Ben White. You might have an answer for Holding. You
yeah,
might.
might. Yeah. Mr. Tom, do you think Saka is world class like Rafinha is now? He's at Barcelona. Yeah, Saka is well on his way, Gary.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of that talk of world class, and he's building a good case for it, but on the world stage, not yet. It's hard to.
Yeah,
I don't know. I think world, as I
he's got
said,
to build.
world class is like legend. People use it all the time, and it's not. It's not something you can just
Yeah,
in the moment be a legend. You have to establish yourself and stake a claim for it for a bit.
yeah.
He can definitely do that, but there's no rush. The man's 21.
Yeah,
We're talking about legends, and usually legends are 24, 25 when you consider them like legends. Mbappe is how old now? I
23.
mean, right? I mean, he's an anomaly, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's not normal. It's so no rush,
Legends,
no
world
rush.
class. Ronaldo, Messi, Mbappe could get
Yeah.
there if he isn't
And
already
you talk about what they were doing at
that age.
Saka's age, right?
Mhm. Yeah,
They were considered really good footballers
Mr.
then.
Tom
He's
is
just
world class.
established himself, and I think, and so there's things he's doing now that they were doing already, and then some, right?
Steven said, "Love to see how Tottenham are going to hire a new manager when their director of football has been suspended by FIFA." Yeah,
It should be
yeah.
really easy. I mean, an owner can go and do all that stuff. We've seen it. Chelsea.
Tony, what do you think? What do you think the classification of world class is? I mean, how many players in world football right now do you you can include? You cannot include Ainsley Maitland-Niles in this, but
Alonso would figure a
They're
way
two
to do it.
separate things, but you can't just all of a sudden, when we call people legends and world class, it's because they're on a some people might say purple patch or they're playing good at the moment.
mhm.
I think it's something you have to do a lot longer than, this is Saka's best season and he's still growing. It's not like, you're just consistently going to get 10-10s out of him every season. That's not where we are yet. He's still trying to figure out how to shoot. He just this season started shooting with his other foot.
Mhm.
So I think he's still building. He's not
Yeah.
there yet.
Last season, maybe last season, season before, we're asking for him to be more efficient with both of his feet, and he's starting to do that now. Tony, what do you think about the notion of world class, legendary, all that stuff?
I think it takes a little longer than just a few years. You have to build up your career. It's not just a short time of span. So right
Yep.
now, there's not too many world class because the ones that were aren't anymore. Messi's not. Ronaldo's not. So you got a very short list there.
Who's world
Mbappe,
class right now?
Mbappe, probably Holland. I don't know who else.
Mm. Yeah. Listen, there's definitely room. There's definitely room for that to happen in the game as well. Um, okay, the four classifications I think for being called world class would be the ability that you have, the talent you have, the longevity that you can be in the game without injuries and be affecting league championships and European football, and also what you're going to win throughout your
I don't know if
career
you
as well.
said it, but if you meant it with what you said, but also there's that in the moment. right? In that moment,
Yeah.
you need something. And what do you know, like,
X factor.
yeah, like, well, you need that goal, you need that tackle, you need that save or whatever it is, and they give it to you. I mean,
That's called
Saka right
grit,
now
Gary.
is, huh?
Grit.
Grit,
Whatever you want to
desire,
call it, whatever you want to call it, but like
tenacity.
in the big games,
Is,
Saka always turns up, right? But
yeah,
most of his
Cojones.
goals
yeah.
are against the top six teams, right? And until like late recently, all of his goals have given us leads or drew the game. So
Mhm.
he's always putting us in a good position to get points.
I had a nice conversation with Tom a couple of weeks ago, I think, on the Sunday show. The difference between what Saka is doing for Arsenal versus what Haaland is doing for City. And at the end of the season, rightly so, one or other of them will maybe player of the year, you know? And you can't maybe disagree with the decision, but they will have gotten there in very different ways. Maybe if Saka and Arsenal have won the league, Saka will have done it by leading us to that, you know, trophy for the first time in 19 years. But Haaland, even if he comes second, he scores something like 45, 50 goals. You can't really argue with that either. You know what I mean, Gary?
Definitely. That's I mean, we always talk about one of the toughest things to do is score goals. And what does he do? He scores goals, right?
Yeah.
And he doesn't always get like, that many touches and chances to score. When he does, he pretty much puts it away most times. So yeah, it's a skill not everybody has, or else we wouldn't be concerned about being clinical pretty much every game, and that's been our issue, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, no, I
We've really leaned on him.
you can't lose either way, but winning a trophy after 19 years and beating City in with a player who scores 40 goals, I'm not sure. If
Yeah.
Saka were to go, I don't know if he can, but if he was 15 and 15 and wins the league and beats City with a 40 goal scorer,
Yeah. He's 10
it's
he's 10 and 10 right now, so it's about 20 goal involvements, and we have a quarter of the season to go, so he's probably got 5 or 6, maybe 8 more involvements to go, whether it be goals
yeah, he's
and
12 and
assists.
10 actually, so he's got.
He's hot on a hot streak.
Oh, you said he's got 8 more to go. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if
8
you
more
imagine
goal
we have
involvements, and he'll
quarter,
be at that 15-15 mark
yeah,
potentially.
we have a quarter to give the season to go. Tony, there's no wrong answer here though, but Haaland versus Saka, what do you see there? Haaland's going to get 50 goals, but Saka could inspire Arsenal to a league title.
Holland's built for the Premier League. Big, tall,
What's that have to do
physical.
with the question?
I
I'll
think he's
answer it.
just comparing and contrasting.
I'm answering the freaking question there, sir.
I don't understand. What was the question again? Maybe I missed the
Um,
question.
Haaland and Saka. There's no wrong answer. I preface this with there's no wrong answer.
But he's custom made for the Premier League. All he has to do is just get in the range, shoot, to go into the back of the net.
So he's not doing anything special then.
He's getting there. Tony's
he's
getting
getting there. Then
No, Tony's getting to the answer, right?
yeah, then you got Saka. Started off as a left wing back, moves to the other side, then moves to right striker. That's why I don't get people say he's not 2-footed. He's played both sides of a pitch.
Mm.
You're 2-footed.
He is
He
2-footed.
doesn't
Yeah.
score with both feet, and that's why a lot of times he doesn't take the shot. That's what the problem was. He would get the ball on his weaker foot, and he wouldn't take the shot. And you're like,
Yeah.
why don't you take the shot? And you just said he can play
How
on
many
both sides.
times has he been up there to make the shot? So
He's had many
he's not been
opportunities
fed
to
enough.
score. He doesn't take the shot, and so you don't actually see the miss. I scream about it all the time.
Right.
You know
do,
this
yeah.
from me.
The thing
You know
about it
this
is
from
just
me. I
seen
scream about him not taking shots, not
Yeah.
taking his opportunities when they
we've
come.
seen Saka play on the left. Now we're seeing him exclusively on the right side, but he does cut in a lot onto his left foot. and that's
But
where he
he's
scored.
not switching where he plays right now. He plays on the right,
Yeah,
and that's it. So
yeah.
he's a right winger, and some consider the best right winger, maybe possibly in the world.
Yep. BX said, I remember when a player scores a worldie, the commentary is that's a world-class strike, save, tackle, etc. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but the player being world class and the action being world class are two different things as well, right?
Yep.
They say
I mean,
all men
Ramsdale
are.
has made world class saves, but is he a world class goalkeeper?
Tom says they say all men are created equal, but you look at Saka and you look at Firpo, and you can see that statement is not true. Firpo has 141 and 1/3 chance of besting Saka. Yeah, on Sunday.
I don't even know what.
I mean, you could be right on Sunday. I mean, he has that chance on Sunday, but the game is actually on Saturday, Mr. Tom. So.
Well, no, that's what he means. On Sunday, he has a chance of beating Saka.
Yeah.
They just won't be playing against each other.
Yeah, sure. Saka will be is playing.
Tom's preparing for 8 hours of WrestleMania. You got to forgive him sometimes.
No,
He
he can't
forgets
do
what
that.
day it
No.
is.
Yeah, no. He supposedly he loves his Leeds team, so he doesn't know when he plays now because he watched wrestling. You're making
And look,
excuses for the man, Tony. Stop it.
I will be the biggest supporter of Leeds after Saturday because they will go on to play Nottingham Forest, Palace, Liverpool, Fulham, Leicester, and Bournemouth. So that's a decent run of games where they can get enough points. I don't think Leeds are going to be in trouble with relegation this season. You think so, Gary? I think they'll be okay. They're good enough.
They're good enough. They just need to get healthy. That's the thing now.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't. If I told you you're going to miss Partey, basically that's their Tyler Adams for a bit. They might be able to hold on, but will they be able to be consistent enough? Probably not, right?
They're missing their Partey. They're going to miss their Saka. They're probably going to miss their Saliba.
Yeah, they're missing the center back as well, right?
Yeah.
So,
Vober.
right. So yeah, they're gonna. It's.
Haaland said. Someone said Haaland should be given a trophy even if he comes second. True. I mean, he'll be getting the golden boot, right?
Yeah, I don't think anybody's taking that away from him.
I still believe awards now exist to promote the sport as opposed to rewarding merit. Haaland,
That's definitely true in the sense that the Ballon d'Or went to Messi, when I believe, and I think a lot of people believed that Lewandowski should have won it.
Yeah.
So that I mean, Messi, that was like in his decline, and all of a sudden he's good enough to win a Ballon d'Or. And nah.
This is very true from BX Gunner. Haaland isn't City's most valuable player, whereas Saka is our talisman. And Tony, I think Saka is definitely our talisman. We'll look back at this season, and Saka will have contributed immensely if we can go on and win this thing. But we'll look back at individual contributions. Maybe a moment here and there from Nelson, Jorginho, maybe Emil Smith-Rowe will pop up, Trossard. So many players within our team that you could say have given a contribution. Even Eddie and Kedia. You know what I mean? Number 14.
It takes every player on there doing something. That's what it is. It's a team sport. Got to have the leaders in there that we have now, like Jesus and Zinchenko. Winning mentality. They know what it takes. So that's what we have.
So there is a time
Saka
difference.
is the man now, right? Isn't he?
Saka is a man. Exactly. Right?
Who's our best player, Tony?
Yeah. Are you doing a road trip Saturday, Gary?
Yes,
with
definitely.
The time difference?
You said you weren't going to come on because we're playing your team. I said, I'll do it and we'll do the watch along together. And you said, no, I don't want to come on and join you. I don't want to get it. I don't know what I did to you.
He's preparing himself for
and
her.
It's not tomorrow, right? Today's
Thursday. For him
Tom.
it is. For Mr. Tom it is.
Technically.
He's supposed to deal in my time. I don't understand this, Greenwich Mean Time thing. Just be on
You
my
just said
time,
what
and
it
it'll
is.
be
You
easy.
know what it is. I'm sure you visited that little marker, took a
I don't know
photo
what you're
of it.
talking about. It's whatever Eastern Standard Time, wherever I am. Everybody else is just changing. You know.
Okay. The world revolves around it's Gary mean time. It's not Greenwich mean time.
You know what? That's what it's supposed to be, and they make it 5 hour difference from where I am. I don't get it.
You do not get abuse, Mr. Tom. You do not get abuse. Um, yeah. So listen, I think Arsenal, Gary,
Mm,
we're 8 points clear of City.
yep.
We're 19 points clear of Man United. We're 20 points clear of that team. We're 22 points clear of Newcastle. We're 27 points clear of Liverpool. Sounds good, doesn't it?
Yes, it's very
But
nice.
It's kind of like what we've been in the opposite direction the last 4 seasons. 20,
now,
30 points, 40 points off the total. So
I believe we may be beginning our cycle here where we're going to have a few years of sustained success. That's the way we build it. We have to build it slow. I don't want this thing to be one season and done, you know. I have to build
Yep.
this thing carefully.
Yep.
I'm also saying this, we need to have humility as well while we're in the ascendancy. Because we know where we came from. We were eighth twice and fifth last season. So just speak to where we are in the season right now, Gary. We've got 69 points, the same total we had last year, and we still have these 10 games to go.
Yep. And that, I mean,
Amazing.
we were what? We had 3 game stretch of games that if we won one of them, we get top 4. So we're back there again, right?
Yeah.
This is that similar situation right now. It's all in our hands again. As long as we don't have injuries to be concerned about, and poor play and poor management and all those things, we'll be fine. All right. So yeah, this is another learning exercise, another exercise where we can learn from. We've learned from the past, hopefully, and even if we do have these hurdles that we're going to have one hurdle definitely on Saturday, but we're going to have to come out and play no matter what. And we've
Yeah.
shown we can do that, right? We've missed pretty much. Everybody says we've been pretty healthy all season, but you look at all the players that we've lost for a point in time. We've dealt with injuries. We haven't dealt with any suspension, but we dealt with injuries, players missing time. So they've been resilient, and they've always come back from adversity whenever it comes. So expect to see that again, no matter who's out there. But yeah, this is just our. Basically, this is that same stretch last season. I can't remember if it was 10
Mhm.
games left in the season or not when we lost that 3 game stretch, but it was pretty close to that
Yeah.
time period. So we are doing
Yeah.
this again. We
But
win all our games. Then does nothing. We stay where we are. We have a little blip. We have to have to have multiple
we
blips for it to make a difference.
we have to stay humble because, as you said, we came back from an international break last season, and we played Crystal Palace on the Monday night. We lost that game 3-0.
Mhm.
We played Brighton the following Saturday. We lost that game 2-1. And we played Southampton on Easter Sunday. Tony knows. Tony knows. That was probably my
I was
lowest
ready to
point.
fucking rap for like a
My
week.
lowest point last season.
You were
Southampton
mad at me
away.
for weeks, right?
I was
Yeah,
not happy.
when their defenders are scoring goals on you, you're in trouble. So
Mm.
yeah, so these players this is almost like those players that have fought in the championship, make it to the Premier League, and you're like, why did they know this, and they're still able to keep themselves up because they know how tough it is. We've seen how things can be taken away from us
Hmm.
last season. Most of these same players know it, and then we've got on top of that, like Tony said, Jesus and Zinchenko and Jorginho, who know how to close it out, close out a season, close out a tournament even, and get all the points they need. So yeah, that's going to be in the back of their minds. but I
Yeah.
think they've grown from it. So I don't even think they have to change anything. They don't even have to look back because they've been doing it today. It's one of
Yeah.
those things where you go, well, it's what you did last season. Remember that? No, I don't need to because this season, no matter how many challenges have been put in front of them, they've always had an answer. They've almost always had an answer, right?
Hmm.
They put themselves in situations to answer the call. They've missed sometimes, but nobody's perfect. So
I
yeah,
mean, yeah, people say, you know, um, people say we've been lucky this season, but I think we've been haunted by last season. We've gotten good. We've got Sinchenko. We've got
yeah.
Gabriel Jesus. We've had Saliba for the majority of the season. We'll talk about Saliba in a little bit with the preview here. But Tony, we've had those demons haunting us since last season, and we've added those three players, and that has sustained us through 28 games now in this season, winning 22 of those games. So I doubt if we may come back from this interlull and play on Saturday and have our first 20 minutes. Gary's not going to like it. Be slow because we do traditionally come back from the interlull, be slow. But I feel like, Tony, we have enough to not have a Crystal Palace of last season on Saturday.
And I don't think Crystal Palace were 44 points behind us like Tom's team is.
Well, major dig right there. Major dig.
But what
I
I would
can't
do,
even see that far, Tony.
what I
You've
would
got much
do,
stronger glasses than me.
what I would do the rest of the season, I'd show them one game, the last Newcastle game they played them last season, because
Yeah.
nobody showed up for that game.
Yeah.
Game would have gave us top four, be ahead of Spurs, have a lot more money and everything else. But we gambled by not getting anybody in January. Players we had weren't strong enough, not enough leaders. We went and bought the leaders instead of making the leaders. We went and bought them, and now we're rolling. Now we just have to hope nothing goes wrong with soccer or one of the center backs.
Mm, yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
we mean with the other
we do
center
have an
back.
issue. We do have an issue. You know about Saliba, but maybe not any more issues because we are going to be in a situation, and yeah, we can touch on the Leeds game, but we're going to be in a situation now where what are we going to do with the back, Gary? Saliba is out with an injury, and the news is it's not like season ending, but Arsenal are going to have to be very, 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 very careful in how they deploy Saliba for the remainder of the season.
Yeah, no, I know you saw. I think you saw my video from the
Mm.
car from the road.
Yeah, good video.
When
Check it
I
out,
saw
people.
that I checked out I just looked at Twitter real quick before I
How
jumped in
many
the car, and I
people
was
did
like,
you flip off on the way, Gary?
I didn't flip off
He
anybody.
wasn't
I've never
driving.
flipped off anybody.
It was
So
either before or after the video, Tony.
yeah, so yeah, no,
Come on,
no,
Gary, you told us you
That
somebody
Saliba
off. Come
news
on.
is the as I said, I don't know if I said it or at least I thought it. The football gods basically telling us why we needed to get another center back. Center back was one of the things people had asked for in the summer window because behind Saliba we had no one, and Saliba we didn't know if he was going to be the answer. Gabriel, fine. Holding, yeah. And who else? Who else did we have? Right? Oh, Ben White could play there, but you know, would he play there? We don't know. But we're back there again. So the football gods seem to always let us know that we should probably do certain business in the summer and the windows. And Kirior wasn't the answer, right?
Or the
So
winner when you know.
what?
Said or the winner, you still had a chance
Yeah,
to go
yeah,
to
you
the
had a
center
chance
back.
then, and the fact that those two have been playing, that was our pairing. That was it. Um, if he had a chance, he's going to play both of them, and not thinking about the risk if he lost one of them. And it always seems to come to head that you know what, you should have maybe brought somebody in. So we'll figure out how we're going to do this. Holding, here's what I'm thinking, and it sounds far fetched. I personally think Kirior and Gabriel Margules would be the best pairing, because the reason why I say that is, and then the instructions to Gabriel would be that he needs to get Derior through these games, which means that he needs to be in the game for 90 minutes, right?
Yep.
That's not going to happen if he has Holding, because when him and Holding play, they're both at at a senior level in terms of when they come on the pitch and play. And sometimes we see Gabriel lose his head. Holding will do something silly. But I think if he had the instructions to help Kirior get through these games, because Kirior I believe he has some talent there. He just needs some instruction. Just like think about when Louise and Gabriel kind of were together. I still believe that having Louise was the reason why we have a Gabriel Margules today. That's what I believe that. And I think Gabriel could get Kirior through these games, and he'd keep his head in the game, and he wouldn't do silly things. He wouldn't take risks when they're not necessary, because that's what's going to need it. That's what's going to be needed on that back line. We're going to need Gabriel Margules to see out these games, and not get himself in trouble.
I think we've seen from the start that Gabriel was a good player. Everybody mentions his mistakes and errors, but he's made less than Saliba has. No goals, not get penalties given away, and all that stuff that Saliba's done this season. But I agree with you. I would pair those two together. Every time I see Holding out there, I'm scared, especially depending who you have at right back. If you have Tomiyasu, I'm going to be really scared because he's going down anytime like he has.
Yeah. Tomiyasu, I think, is going to has had an injury and is out for the rest of the season. So are we talking about Kivior and Gabriel Megalegs together?
That's who I would. It sounds crazy, but that's what I would do, because I think Kirior, based on his the traits that he brings, like he's really fast, so he can make up for mistakes with his speed. He's definitely willing to learn, and I think I think the players around him would get him through. Right? If there's a Ramsdale behind him, he's going to either call him off the ball or let him take it. You know what I mean? That whole
Gabriel's will be
miscommunication with
telling him
Turner
first.
wouldn't happen, I think, in that type of situation. So that's kind of why Holding, Holding is to me just like a El Neni. He's going to be good for and I hate to bring his name up, but I'm going to do it anyways, because in Kedia, they're good for a finite number of games.
Yeah.
It might be 3, it might be 6, but it won't be like, all right, let's see this thing out for the rest of the season. Can Holding play for 10 games and us not see an issue? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't.
There's going to be something.
So something's going to come up. So for me, that's what I would like to. That's why I kind of felt like. That's why even if Holding were to start, he can't play all 10, because I feel like he plays. We'll think about this. Holding plays against Liverpool, right? Newcastle and City, because those are the big games. Yeah.
So
I get that whole thing, but I don't believe that's an issue, because that's not, that's how Arteta likes to do it. But
yeah,
Holding
I think Holding.
The gap is so big between Saliba and Holding, so big.
Yeah.
So big. And
but I believe also that's what's going to happen. Holding will play for another game. Ben White will play outside of him, and I think Ben White has been so good this season, partly because he's very good and adaptable in the position that he plays, in the right back position, but also, Tony, that Saliba has allowed him the freedom to do this. The security of knowing Saliba is behind you allows you to be able to go forage up front and help Saka on the right wing.
Yeah, he's done a good job. I don't like him going as forward as he does, as often as he does, but that's Arteta's plans. That's
Mhm.
why Gabriel's been on an island lots of times. And you don't want Gabriel and Holding on an island together because Holding slow as molasses.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah, and listen, Gabriel, if Holding plays, Gabriel's going to have to watch that quarter of the field as well, that Holding. So we're asking Gabriel Magalhaes to do
and
something
we
else.
can't play with that high line like we've been. Can't have the center backs at or above the halfway
Um,
line.
We saw what Harlan did to Holding, right? And that is going to
well, it
be
was
that
physical.
that no, but basically what they did is they picked on him, just like the same time like last season when we played that
Son.
team, right?
Yeah.
And we needed Holding to be that senior player on the back line, and he
And
lost his head, right? He
that's
lost
what
his mind,
happened, BX Gunner.
right?
Until Rob Holding holds up in games like this, we're going to remember that North London derby. We're going to remember Holland, the physicality with Holding.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's why Gabriel. That's why Gabriel has to be the senior player in that back line. Holding cannot be
yeah.
considered like Arteta cannot. I don't know if he does this or not, but it feels like Holding is a player that he holds in high regard
Yeah.
when he comes on the pitch, and that can't be because he's not.
Well,
And Gabriel
it's
Margalhaes
not
has been,
here.
and
It
Margalhaes has
shows he
been.
is, but he's already in the shop window from the reports we got 3 or 4
Who
weeks.
is
But you know what? I'm not talking
Holding.
about tomorrow. I'm talking
Holding?
about
Yeah.
this season, right?
Yeah.
That's like the end of the season. Like right
Yeah.
now, Margulis has to control that back line, and Holding has to answer to him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Um,
Like, and Gabriel, by giving him that instruction, not only will he not lose his own mind because he has to. He has to help. He has to help the back line get through this. You know what I mean? Like, this is one of those things where you need that guy in the back line to make sure all the other three guys around him get the job done, right? And Partey doesn't have to do too much, right?
yeah. Now, the rate of us scoring goals is going to possibly overcome any deficiencies we see at the back.
Yeah,
But yeah, we're asking Gabriel Magalhaes to do a little bit more and to cover these situations. Sam was asking if we got another right back, or is White the only available right back? I mean, Tommy Asu being injured creates this knock-on effect. Saliba being injured creates, a gash in our right side of defense
yeah,
that doesn't help, and it's scratching into our depth. Now, our depth
yeah,
may well be sufficient to get us through these 10 games, but we're asking, as Gary's saying, a lot of Holding. And if Kivior comes in, we're asking a lot of Ben White to play the majority of 10 games as well. I don't really want to see Partey playing in that right back position, as we saw toward the end of that
You know what?
Crystal Palace game.
It's funny you say that because that might be where we end up. That might not necessarily Ben White or Partey or somebody playing out of position, but potentially you could see like a Saka having to play out of position to
A
see out a
wing back.
game, right?
Yeah. You
See
might
out a
see those
game
wing backs.
because he can
Tony.
do that. And he might have to do that just so we can see out a game because maybe we have an issue on the back line, and
Yeah.
it's easier to bring in a Reece Nelson than bring
Yeah.
in somebody else.
Yeah. Yeah.
You bring in a Reece Nelson and you push Saka back, and then he can because he's shown he can do the job. But that's how we're going to see out these 10 games.
Mm.
And like you said, Jesus coming back, Emil Rowe coming back, Reece Nelson coming back, and Kedia coming back now are attacking front three, front four, depending on how
Mm-hmm.
Trossard gets used,
5,
is
6,
really
7.
strong, right?
Yep.
And we may not need to. We may win matches 4-2. You know what I mean? As
Yeah.
opposed to like 3-0 or something like that.
Yeah.
Just because we might be able to give up goals, but we're scoring more goals than everybody else. So I don't know. This is a good answer, but we have to. And as I said you listened to my video, I said a couple of
Mm-hmm.
things we have to do. Got to be clinical.
Mm-hmm.
Got to score first. that first 20 minutes that we always show that we usually can attack, we need to show something for it.
Yeah.
All right.
Which,
And
to
and
be
then, and
fair,
then that,
we've been doing that a lot this season.
no, but lately we haven't. Lately we haven't been
Scoring
doing
the
that.
first goal.
It's all of those things.
Okay.
Yeah, we've been scoring the first goal, but we were down 2 goals to what you call it a couple weeks ago,
Bournemouth.
right?
Yep.
So we're not doing all those things, but we need to.
BX has the correct answer there.
Tierney at centre back, and what a great start to their campaign Scotland has had. I think 2 wins out the gate. Yeah, Gary, all those things, and
Can we do that, Ray?
you lay a lot out in your video as well. So go check out Gary's video in the car.
Yeah,
Tony,
like you said, Tierney we need to give him minutes.
we
Why
may
can't
do
we
that.
do that, Ray?
That may be a stopgap situation, like we're saying.
How's it a stopgap when he plays that for his country?
Well, it's a stopgap
knows
because
that
Arteta
position
doesn't.
well.
When's the last time
Stopgap
Arteta
for
used him
Arsenal.
as a center back?
Yeah.
He put him, Gabriel, and White back
No,
there.
when's the last time Tierney's played in the red shirt at center back?
You're making me want to look
It
up what
doesn't matter what
stopgap
shirt he
means.
wears.
No, but
he
you're
knows what
saying
to
it. That's
do.
why it's a stopgap because it's not something he does. So in effect, it's a stopgap
Do
until
you
he
want to
gets
trust
until he
Holding
slip it
or
right.
Tierney? Who do you go for?
He's been putting Holding there. So
Who are
yeah,
you to go for?
it's not me. I have no. I want our best player.
This is
I've
our
always told you I
opinions,
want our
Jerry.
best.
That's why we come
I
out
want our
here and
best
talk.
11 players on the pitch, right?
We're not gonna sit
Sometimes
there
they have
and
to play out of position, right?
say what Arteta's gonna do. We know what he's gonna do.
Yeah, that's why we. I don't want. We're not
We
gonna.
could say it's a moot point and turn the
Okay.
show off.
I've just Googled the definition of stopgap. It is something that serves as a temporary expedient makeshift.
There you go.
It's makeshift.
If he gets pushed into it, he'll put Tierney there, but it won't be as soon as Holding or Saliba gets healthy, he's out of there. That's the only way that's going to happen.
We may play 3 at the back again late in games, when substitutions and game state allows that. If we have injuries, if we have players who are tiring, assembled, we have no options right back other than White. I mean, the option was Tomiyasu, basically, at right back.
Arteta has shown he won't play a 3 at the back when it's deemed necessary, right? Like he needed to play 3 at the back when he's going with his second 11, right?
Yeah,
because he can't play the same way, and he doesn't do it then.
Shaka says, or not Shaka, BX says Shaka at left back makes me think anything is possible. That was last
You know
season.
what? Big Gunner.
Shame on you, right?
Please, no. Just say no. Please. Just say no. Put that piece of apparatus down and step away, please.
Yeah. Don't think like that, BX Gunner, at all. Are you trying to say Leeds are known outside of Ellen Road? Yeah, there's some banter going back.
Who's Leeds again? I don't know. We keep talking about this Leeds team.
Listen,
DX does not have an apparatus in his hand.
Leeds will be my second favorite team once again.
Likes blunts, Gary.
Leeds will be my second favorite team once again.
Get those twigs out of here. Yeah.
Okay, so Gary, Saliba injury is maybe the only injury we're going into this Leeds game with, right?
Yep.
Eddie Nketiah is on the way back. He's in the gym, and we should give him as much press as Gabriel Jesus in the gym, right? Getting himself back. Tony, yep.
So is Reece healthy?
Yeah, I believe he is. Do you have any information?
Nope.
Yeah, Arsenal slow starts after the Interlull. Leeds, for their part, they've got a couple of injuries. Tyler Adams, I think he's out for the rest of the season. Gary? Tyler Adams?
Oh, I didn't know he was out for the rest of the season. I know he was injured, but I didn't know he was out.
I believe it could be. Weber is out, a player at the back that they have been. They've been in decent form, albeit they beat Southampton, they beat Wolves, they beat teams down in the bottom.
Well, you know what? That's what you need to do, though, right? You need to beat those teams that are around you. So
okay, so
do that.
Listen, we're gonna bring Tom in, right? Because he needs to get
Defend his team. What is he gonna? What is? How's he gonna defend his team? He doesn't even know who's playing because they're like playing like the second and third
It
string
will
player.
be at least entertaining. Okay.
Oh, that
You,
part.
you might see Tom out on the pitch.
See, there you go. So that's how deep it goes.
You might see Tom out on. Okay, so I'm going to drop the link there for you, Tom.
What does he have to defend his team? What,
Well,
what are we saying? What are we saying? We've just been talking about our
you know when you
players.
fight the good fight, Gary, but you still lose.
You know he's just gonna come on here and talk nonsense, don't you?
Exactly. That's why. So it's nothing about defending his team. He's just fed up of not of speaking nonsense to himself, and now he wants to spread it to the world.
Who is this Adams you speak of? Tyler Adams, you know, the famous Adams from Leeds United.
Part of Adam's
Nanto,
family.
Nanto also, you know, he's been playing well with Leeds this season. He's out injured. So, you know, rival fans will say, here we go again. Leeds having 3 key injuries, and Arsenal being lucky and timing of such a thing. But, Tony, if we're going to do this, we're going to get 7 or 8 wins. We have 5 home games, and we need pretty much maximum points from. And one of these, I'm sorry, Tom, is Leeds United. They're in our way, and we're going to grab 3 points, Tony.
We should. We need to. All we have to do is go out there and play the way we've been playing this year.
Yeah, we got Leeds at home. We got Southampton at home. Chelsea will be a little bit tricky right at the end of the month. And then toward the end, Brighton at home will be a difficult game, but not beyond us. And then we will finish the last day with Wolverhampton Wanderers, where tickets are going at a very exorbitant price right now for the Wolves game, you know. But Gary, there's 5 wins that we need to have.
Yeah. No, you're right. We
Home
gotta
wins.
win all. Yeah, we gotta win all our games at home. But for me right now, I want to win these next 4. Going into that City match is kind of where I would like this to set on a what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
We
10
got 6
game,
right now.
10
Yeah.
game winning streak basically,
Yeah.
and we probably would have already had our 10 game winning streak if it wasn't for the way we played against Everton
Everton,
and City,
Brentford,
right? So Brentford and
City.
City. So those are games that I think we if that was the second, we have time to redeem ourselves. We would play better in.
Yeah.
But yeah, nah, yeah. I'm looking at it one game at a time, and right now I'm looking at these next 4. As I said, I want to go into the City game looking pretty strong. 5-point lead would be pretty good, but 11 would be much better, right?
Mm-hmm. Quick. So then that brings us quick word to the first game of the weekend, and we'll go through these formally, Tony. But the first game of the weekend on Friday or tomorrow, if you're in the UK, and not at Gary meantime.
The Gary meantime has got a. I've got 0-0.
Now, Gary
and
meantime
Gary
doesn't mean
meantime.
that's your time to be mean, is it?
I don't know. Tony, ask Tony because he's the one that usually gets the brunt of it, right?
Yeah, usually. Tony, is Gary meantime mean that Gary's mean?
He is when he has the SIP hoodie on.
The hoodie would be on if we would lose to Leeds. So.
Oh God, yeah. Tony, Man City at home to Liverpool. We laughed about it. Haaland might miss this game, but it looks like he might miss this game.
That's to be Tony's really cares about game of the week. Number 1.
Yeah,
really,
listen.
Really cares about.
We're going to be watching it as Arsenal fans. We're sitting here at 8 points ahead of City, not United, and we're waiting for a stumble. If Liverpool are going to get into this top 4, Gary, they've got to come there and make it very, very difficult for City. And I don't think this Liverpool team can even think about defending.
I
especially
think
away
they
from
have
home.
to. I think that's going to be one of the key things they have to do. I hear what
Yeah,
you're
but
saying.
can you defend by attacking?
I don't think they have enough numbers because the midfield is not as strong as it used to be in the past, right? They have is Jota back? Is it
I saw
Luis
something about Luis Diaz coming out for
Luis Diaz
training.
is back? Okay,
Yeah,
so
he
they
may
need
not be
a lot.
starting.
They need the numbers to keep up. So they're gonna have it's gonna be a 50-50 job. They're gonna have to take advantage when they get in front of goal, but they also cannot because they can get scored on. I mean, yes, Foden is out, so that's one of their attackers out. If Harlan is struggling, or if he has an injury, is he going to be healthy coming into this match? No matter how much time he had off, you know what I
A
mean?
groin injury that he's going to be nurturing and taking, because when Tom was on with me, we talked about this, and the Bayern Munich game is 10 days away, Gary.
Yeah.
So City have a decision. Pep has a decision now. He wants that Champions League, but does he risk the striker that he bought in order to hopefully get that Champions League? Does he risk him? I don't think he
Yeah.
does on Saturday.
Well, even if whatever match he comes back in, the first match he comes back in, he is not going to be the Harland, the top prime Harland this season. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
He's going to be a little bit lower on that, so he'll be a normal
Still,
striker. He'll be a normal striker. He won't be able.
mm,
It won't. It'll be one of those things where, like in the beginning of the season, where he missed these sitters, and you're like, "What the? Well, now it'll be because he's not 100% back." You know what I mean? So for me, this might be Liverpool's to win because Haaland won't be 100%. Foden is out, so that's two attackers not playing at all. And Luis will be also coming back from an injury.
yeah.
Will he be back fully? We don't know.
Tom, the gauntlet has been laid down. The
Said he
link
wanted to
is.
come. Oh, you got to get his hair right. He's got to the makeup people and all that. The dungeon
Oh,
lighting
I
has
didn't
to be
know
set.
that he
The
was that much.
chips and the
Yeah.
chips have to be set in the right
Okay.
spot. The Coke,
Okay.
the Pepsi bottle needs to be over here. The mug with today's wrestler that has to be decided on. I mean, there are a number of things that man has to go through to put a show together
Shit,
and
I
close
know
it out
we're here for a
presentable.
long time. I know we're usually here for a long time on Thursday night forums, but I might not cover it, Tony. You know what I mean, Gary?
I think Tom's doing his scouting for wrestling. So
You what? You keep making excuses for him. What are you, his buddy or something? His friend?
I'm
Yeah,
his co-host, sir.
gotta speak to his people.
See
The
that? Yeah, and that's
contract.
the other part. Yeah, he's got people to talk
You
to.
gotta sign the contract. It's
He's
in
talking about the people in the dungeon.
your
That's
Twitters.
yeah.
What did you think of the Conte situation, Gary? Couldn't happen to a nicer team.
Yeah, I like what they're doing to that club. You know what? He might have spoke the truth, but he forgot to say "I" in a lot of those things, right?
Mm.
He's part of that problem as
Hmm.
well, and he never did call himself out at all.
He's had
Which he
windows.
probably won't. He probably wouldn't, but he needed to, and he needed to do that definitely to the players because he let them down. In some respects, he's let them down, but as a whole, the whole thing starts from the top and trickles down anyway. So um, that's part of it.
They've played this football. They've played this football with Mourinho and now Conte. They've played counter-attacking football, and I don't believe it's good enough for them to be better than
They've got the second
where they
leading
are in the
scorer in
league.
the league, and they're still like playing in such a way. There you go, Coke. Oh, he's got the hood on and everything. That he's ready to go. I don't understand what he's getting ready for.
It's going
All
to
he's
be.
going to
Getting
say is
ready
my
for fucking
team's sick.
WrestleMania.
My team sucks, and that's all he's
It's
going to say really.
it's TMT. Tom mean time. It's time for Tom to be mean. TMT. Get it?
Time for Tom to be Tom.
Yeah, listen, I thought the Conte situation was hilarious for a manager to unload on a club, on the players. You're coming in from Southampton, the team at the bottom of the league, 3-1 up, and you lose. You draw 3-3. We drew there, but under different circumstances. We did not capitulate. But their team did capitulate. in dramatic circumstances. And Conte called out the players not just for that game, but for years and years of what we've seen at Arsenal, a social club, players actually trying to run. I don't even maybe a couple of players at Arsenal tried to run the club, tried to use their influence, but at Tottenham it's rife. But anyway, let's welcome our new guest, closet
It is me.
Arsenal fan, Mr. Tom, our Leeds collection.
You're all in so much trouble. It's unreal. You don't know how much trouble you're in. I mean, oh my God.
Can we see a scenario, Gary? Can we see a scenario on Saturday where Tom's smiling? The
You
first
mean
minute?
Sunday, because he won't be smiling on Saturday. I mean, let's get it right. He was right about Sunday.
Yeah.
Firpo will look much better on Sunday against Saka, because that's
When he's getting his massage on the physio
yeah,
after having
yeah.
run around. He's done like 10 kilometers in the game.
Listen, Firpo's going to be in the physio room on Wednesday, right? Because he's going to be complaining. He's going to have a big pain in his side, and it's because he forgot to take Saka out of his pocket. That's going to be why he's in the changing room on Wednesday.
Yeah, the players are not good enough for Tottenham. Is the history of the Spurs, indeed. Mr. Tom, I'm so happy you won the last time out against Wolverhampton Wanderers because
weren't as happy as I was. I was so shocked when we scored that fourth goal. I can't remember. I think it was the fourth goal. I slid down the chair out of shock. I was just.
As you slid down the chair, Leeds slid up the table from way down there to 14th place where they are now.
Hey, this season, if you get a win in that bottom half, you go from like 19th to 13th instantly.
It's very close.
Or to 10th.
The other thing, Tom, that is in your favor, you've got goal difference. It's pretty reasonable compared to the other teams.
Well, yeah, no one batters us. We lose by one.
Okay, so you think it'll be a tight game on Saturday? State your case.
Well, yeah, I think Arsenal will lose in a tight game for the simple reason, right? Like most of you have been talking all week, I think you underestimate my team, as in, despite the fact that recent history is on our side, that we are more than capable of mixing it with the so-called Big Six.
Big top six, yeah. I get that. Now, aside from Liverpool, have you gotten those said results away from home against the top six?
We got the point at Old Trafford.
Trafford.
What point did Arsenal get at Old Trafford this year?
It was 1-1 at a point in the game.
If I remember rightly, it was another one of those games where it didn't go your way, and then you'll blame the ref. It's a bit of a theme with Arsenal, isn't it? In recent memory, I mean,
you're talking about one game. We're talking about. Let's just talk about the season then, if you want to go that route.
No,
one game.
Are you talking about Russ Morgan?
We've only dropped points in 6 games. How many have you dropped? How many games have you actually got 3 points in? All right, is it like 6? Something like that. Is that what it is? Oh, he froze on us.
Internet froze me. You had the Brentford game with the Lions. You had the Man United game with the foul. When as soon as you saw it, it was a foul, and you knew it was going to get disallowed. Now, should it have been? Probably not, but you knew it was going to be as soon as it happened.
You were very wrong in everything.
We had an inkling. We didn't know. You know.
Let's stay here and eat crisp and enjoy the show.
Your internet is not top 6 quality.
That is true. It knows you're talking nonsense. It doesn't want to work.
No. I did the third one myself. You should fix it. So we had Arsenal, the Brentford game, the Man United game, the Newcastle game, where you was all upset that Newcastle didn't let you win.
He's gonna go through
That's
all our
essentially what
worst
happened.
games. How many bad? You want us to? We don't have enough time to talk about every
You know the
match
thing, Gary?
that you struggled in.
You know the
He's
thing,
just talking
Gary? He
about
knows.
referees, Gary.
He knows all of the games Arsenal played.
Yeah, because he's a fan.
He knows Arsenal
No.
intimately.
He
Of course
follows
I know
Russ
the game.
Morgan
Of
on
course,
Twitter
no,
and knows all
of course
the
I know
bad
what you
calls.
played. I've watched like the 96 podcasts you all put out on a weekly basis. Of course I know what
No,
he's getting up
no,
to.
you knew it before you even came on the podcast. You are a fan. Just show your
yeah.
red shirt. Go on, just do it. What's
Yeah,
going on, man?
pull that
Don't
sweater down.
promote the assemble. Don't promote the
Leads
assembles
are like
comments.
carpet underlay, a
Yes.
very important
No,
part
they're
for
just
everyone to step on.
Leadsist.
Have a
Unacceptable.
feeling Tom will be sporting a new
Um,
look very soon.
Tom, how's the new manager doing at Leeds?
I would argue it is very reasonable that he has got one defeat in four. We're not counting the Fulham game in the cup.
Yeah,
In league, one defeat in four is
Mhm.
probably what, and that was an away trip to Chelsea, which we lost by 1 goal, admittedly. But
Oh, it sounds like Saturday away to a big team losing. Okay, go on.
You just
Right,
called it
right,
here. You just
right.
heard it here from a
No,
Leeds
no, no,
fan
no, no.
expecting a
Cards
loss.
on the
so it's
table,
fine.
right? The reality is, right, if football don't work like this. But if someone went to me, right, I'm from the future and I can make it so if you lose to Arsenal on Saturday and we'll make sure you beat Nottingham Forest on Tuesday and then make sure you beat Crystal Palace, I would then go, you know what? I don't accept that because I still want the 9 points.
Right,
So I'm
you'll
going to
take
make. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. Of course, I'll take it because that 6 points will. It wouldn't make us safe, but it'd be a big part towards that.
Yeah.
Whereas my assumption is those same teams are going to lose to Arsenal.
Yes,
So
after
there'd be no ground lost.
after playing us on Saturday, you have 3 games at home: Forest, Palace, and Liverpool. You know, and Liverpool's away form has not been great of late.
Yeah.
So you have even a possibility of doing
Need
a
to get
double over
revenge.
Liverpool.
I need revenge on Liverpool. I need revenge on Liverpool for them letting us win there. So
Okay,
that was
that's the reverse psychology right there. We shouldn't have won. So by that mentality, we need revenge against Leeds because we shouldn't have beat you at Ellen Road.
you shouldn't have, and you all know it. You all know it deep down.
We should know. We know what
You shouldn't have won at Ellen Road, and you know it.
we won. We
We
won
know
every
it.
game. We won
We
lots
know
of
it.
games this season.
Listen to
So like
those two,
that's
Ray.
another one of the
You
games
know what
we've
they
won.
sound like?
Huh?
Yeah.
What does he sound like?
It sounds like Ray and Gary used to sound like, just arguing all the time.
He just wants to fight with us for some reason.
Yeah.
Gary's got
And you know what?
Gary's got a new couple member
They
of his.
sound like Stadler
There's a
and the
couple.
other guy. Anyway, okay. Yeah, listen, we were quite lucky, I will say, at Allen Road to come away.
No team ever gets lucky, Ray. No team. It's just Arsenal. It's the only team that ever gets lucky.
The only team.
The only team that gets lucky.
Yeah.
Hey, I've never ever said Leeds ain't lucky. When have I ever complained?
No,
when have I ever come on here?
You can pick out every lucky. Well, tell me all the lucky times. Like, is that the 6 wins? Is that when you were lucky? Because I'll tell you what, we were more lucky for. When you look at all our wins, we were not lucky in all of them.
Here we go.
How many wins do we have? Do you know?
We got 22 right now.
22 wins. We weren't lucky in all 22 of them. How many wins you got? How many wins?
Not 22.
Oh, you're the facts, man. You tell me.
You got 6 wins, buddy.
That's not Leeds. That's a wrong one.
That's definitely not Leeds, unless those W's are like
L's. Yeah,
and
L's or W's.
Ellen Road. I don't know.
Yeah. No, listen, to be fair, we were kind of lucky to get out of Ellen Road with a power cut. And
I'm not catering to his make him feel good. I don't know what you're doing.
Tom,
Ray.
When have I ever come on here and said we lost a game because of the ref or anything like that? I've always said
we've never said that
we were shit. No,
we've never said that here.
We never said we.
That was implying that I have
implied
excuses and all this shit. The reality is, right? I'm very level-headed when it comes to my team and its outcomes. Right, I'm telling you that now. And we all know we should have beat you at Ellen Road, right? But we
I don't know.
didn't. The reality is we didn't.
I saw your team lose to my team. That's all I gotta say.
I remember.
All these big
you,
ifs and ands or maybes and all. Nah. Well, you lost.
How do we get the points, Mr. Tom? We should not have won that game. You know.
Well, I can tell you how you got the points because the rules of football dictate the team that scores the most goals wins, and we had fuck all in that column. Whereas
if you miss a penalty,
one. That's how it
penalty,
right?
Do you score a penalty if you miss a penalty?
He just said
No,
you got more
Patrick
goals.
Bamford, Mr. I just said it. I literally just said it.
So how did Bamford play again in that match?
Like shit, like he does every match, according to Tom.
To be fair to Patrick Bamford, right, his disallowed goal was a bit crafty because Gabriel Megalegs is a large individual, but he flew like he was a paper airplane. And again, you all know that's true. But again, the Big Six teams are.
So you're gonna blame? You're blaming the officials, right? Is that what you're doing? You're blaming the officials?
No, I'm blaming
Are you blaming the
inherent
officials?
bias
Is that what you're
towards the
doing?
Big Six, which does exist. Which does
You're
exist.
blaming
But
the officials. I get it.
we still fucked ourselves. We still fucked ourselves. We should have scored.
No, it sounded like you were blaming the official for that call or non-call.
So if the Big Six are
it was a bit suspect.
If the Big Six are the Big Six because they have more points than the other 14, isn't it because they're better?
Well, it's a combination of factors, isn't it? It's the combination of you have the most money. It's a circle that churns on itself. Like you win games because you have the most money, but then you also have the most money because you win games because you tend to come out on the right side of 50-50
Chicken before
decisions.
the egg thing is what or the egg before the chicken, depending on how you're listening to Mr. Tom.
Or which came first, the color or the fruit? You know, orange. Is orange the color or is orange the fruit? Which was first?
We have Newcastle come in with their new owners with 80% of the wealth of the league.
Been flashed up. Who's Henry?
80% of the league.
This goes. Yeah, can you tell us about Henry? Because I didn't know. I mean, I know you have lots of history.
I didn't know he was writing that.
A brief history of
Henry's a racist individual, isn't he? Because he just keeps scoring against us.
You know, you got him when he brings out the R word because that means he's done. He has nothing good to say. You cannot win the argument anymore. So damn it, he's going to bring the R word out.
That was Henry.
Or the L word. Leedsism.
Not Henry.
Or the L word, right, Mr. Tom? There's levels. Mr. Tom, there's levels to this thing. You will not understand. It's not like we can't even talk. I'm at this level, and I don't even know where your level. I don't even know. It's not even on the screen.
What about Lenny Henry?
That's not PG.
Lenny Henry, Mr. Tom. Lenny Henry.
That's the Henry you're talking comedian, but I'm not going to pay him £40 to see him.
All right, so Leeds United. You know, they did give us a tough game last season, Gary.
Yeah, they've given us some.
This season,
so close.
Gary's face. The amount of times we should have beat you since we've been promoted is absurd.
The amount of times you came so close. Yes.
That's what makes it so annoying because it's like. Can't just get over that line against us. Yet before we got relegated, we were routinely slapping Arsenal around. It was like clockwork.
So tell me about when Henry played you last time. How do you recall that game? Can you just tell me in detail how that went again?
He scored 4 goals.
When he came out of retirement, he still scored against Leeds.
The man was in a wheelchair. He was in a wheelchair for like a year, and Leeds games on. He's like, I can play.
Oh no!
He wasn't in the wheelchair.
Stop playing the championship. It's a fine league. Stop picking on the teams that were in it.
So a retiree beat you guys when you were in the championship? Is that what happened?
He's making his comeback.
Retiree if you played him, was he?
He was playing.
We can let everybody have an opportunity to score on Leeds. Even retirees.
What's
Everybody deserves to get a chance.
Samuel's really going after you, Tom.
Yeah, he is.
It's the thing you guys should have suffered when you bribed your way into the league in like.
Oh, we're gonna bring that up. How
1586 or
far do you want to
something.
go back? You want to go back throughout all?
I'll go
110
back
years.
as far as I need, Gary. I'll go back as far as I need to get one on Arsenal. I'll go back as
110
far
You
as I
can't
need.
get
Right?
back. Did we get relegated? Did we get relegated
Never.
that season? Mr. Tom, can you answer the question again?
It's helpful when you got the league officials in the pot.
Did we get relegated
35
at the end of
it
that
is.
season, Mr. Tom?
Probably not.
Where did we
I won't
play the
lie,
next
you'd have to
season?
Find someone who was
Mr.
Sorry?
Tom, where did we play the next season?
probably at Highbury,
In what league?
the old
First
Division 1, I
division?
believe it would have been called.
Yeah.
And that's so we didn't get relegated. Can you confirm that?
Well, you've never been relegated, so even though you obviously
Never
shouldn't
been
have been promoted
officially.
in the first place.
We've never been officially
Yeah.
relegated, right?
No. Don't get me wrong, my team have been a lot, all right? So I can tell you what it's like. I mean,
How many times, Tom?
what's too many to count.
Now, Tom,
Can we talk about Premier League
Shut
football?
up, Tom's counting.
Preferably top of the table football. What is that like, Ray?
Oh, scary.
pretty
Tom's
good.
counting.
I recommend it. It's pretty good. It's
Yes, Tom,
enjoyable.
we should try
Well,
it.
we have
Enjoyable.
we have done that, so like you can't talk like that's never happened. But like we were the first defending champions of the Premier League, so
1992.
yeah,
Yes.
it's still a thing.
You remember that? You remember that? I didn't think you were
I
old enough.
remember.
Mr. Tom.
And we did make the Champions League semi-final at the first attempt, which would have been your fourth or fifth attempt at the time, maybe. But you kept getting knocked out in
You
the
want
group
to
stages
compare?
at the quarterfinals.
You want to compare battle scars and
we
trophies?
got to the
Let's
last
compare
four first
trophies.
time round.
Let's compare
Okay,
trophies.
I have it here. I'll send it to you, Gary.
Hmm.
I'll send it to you.
Trophies or trophy count?
Yep.
I believe we've won more trophies, not the amount, but the actual number of
In the
different
first
trophies.
in the top league?
Yep.
You've
In the
won more
top
trophies
in England. In England.
Well, we'll
in
count
England
both.
or in the top
count.
league of England? Is it which one is it?
In
in
the
England
top
and
league.
in Europe.
Yeah.
We've
I've
won
just sent it
we've
to you,
won
Gary.
European trophies.
Yes.
We've won
So
European
to be
trophies. There's no
fair,
need
Leeds are 15th in the most successful clubs within England.
which is not bad
Leeds,
when you've not been in the Premier League for nearly 20 years.
you've won 3 league titles, one FA Cup,
FA Cup,
and
one League Cup, both
Cup.
against Arsenal. Yeah, both against Arsenal. Just for a point out.
And you've won 2 European Cups.
Yeah.
Cool.
The
for a
equivalent
total-
of the Europa League.
Total of 7. Arsenal have also won 2 European Cups.
And
Yeah,
Cohen's
we've won-
Cup
we've
barely
won-
counts.
You've won 7 trophies, and we've
Yeah.
won 2 times that just in our FA Cup.
Yeah.
Count.
Yeah. We've got 31 overall.
Yeah, but you always get lucky draws, don't you? Like you always draw these
Luck.
championships.
Okay, once again, this
So-
luck thing. All right. Yeah.
Lucky
thing.
Arsenal.
Like, do you even play any top division teams? Like in the FA Cup, do you ever actually? Because all I seem to remember is like you end up having to like cheat against Sheffield United and things like that. Like doing overmiles, like take the ball from a throw in, and and Wenger was like, "We'll play you again."
Yeah.
Sort of thing. And it was like, no, let them win. Let them actually win. Because you cheating
This
bastard.
is
Sorry.
1999, I think that was. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Um,
think it.
Yeah, you're delving
Yeah,
into
so-
history now, Tom. Delving into history.
Cool.
Tom is
braiding his beard there.
launching a strong defense of his team. What did Leeds do? Sold Cantona to United for 1 million.
I'll have you know, assembled. We didn't just sell one of the greatest footballers of all time for fuck all money. It actually occurred because we phoned them asking if Dennis Irwin was available, and they said no, but then asked us if Cantona was available, and we said yes. So we're actually bigger idiots than you take us for. but get it right. Old story.
Yeah,
But
you got
but don't worry, it's all about the luck of the Arsenal. That's the reason why
Yeah.
we beat them every time.
Hey, you're the Big Six team that I hate the least, but Gary's trying to make you rise up those rankings.
You can't hate us more than United. You can't hate us more than Liverpool. You can't hate us more than City or Chelsea.
You made
I
a
don't actually
mistake
hate.
there.
I don't hate City. City amuse
made a
me
mistake
actually
there
because
saying
they
United.
upset all the others.
Right? You have to say Manchester United.
Well, yeah,
'Cause you got
there's
Leeds
like
United.
3 Uniteds in the league.
Oh, did I say Man United or just United?
You just said
You
United.
did not. You
Okay.
said United.
Okay. I mean, you know who I was talking about, right?
He didn't know who you're talking about because he
What
doesn't.
you might have been talking
Doesn't know
about
what day
Newcastle.
it is.
Hang on, what is it? Is it? Wait, are we meant to be doing the trip right now? Because it's Monday, isn't it? Oh no, wait. Sorry.
No. Are you usually the major reason for people waiting on you to go live, Mr. Tom? Are you the reason, as Gary
No.
alluded to earlier?
He doesn't even want to come on until
Nope.
the show starts.
Nope.
Gary
Jim,
doesn't wait for
nope,
anyone.
Nope.
I started
Tony,
on time. I
have
give
you
you a
ever-
time.
have you
I
ever-
actually give you a warning of when to be in the back room, and Mr. Tom waits until like a minute before the show, and then he's like, maybe I'll click the connect button.
But you have the same format every week, so it doesn't actually matter.
What do you mean I have the same format every week?
Because you go, hello, Gary, hello, I'm Gary, welcome to the trip. Here's one of my 46 intros. Dun, 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 dun.
Are you making
Hello,
fun of my?
Gary,
You making fun of our show? How
I'm
dare you?
impersonating
That's
your intro.
racist.
No.
That
no,
is
I'm impersonating your
racist.
intro.
Is that what you're
No,
just making
I'll
fun of
do
it because
if
it's
you was
me?
also white.
Racist.
No,
Racist.
I'll do it if you was
Racist.
also
Racist.
white. I'd be like, duh, duh, duh. Yeah, I made it sound like Mission Impossible, but it's not. Anyway, but the important thing, right?
He came on here to
like,
make fun of the
he wants
show.
me.
I
He
thought he
wants
liked
me
the
on.
show.
No, he wants me
Now
on
he's making
5
fun
minutes
of it.
early,
You hear that,
so
Ray?
I can.
He's like, Ray, I like coming on your show, but it's always the same thing. You yap in your mouth.
Yeah.
You know, you're just talking it up. Talk about
Well,
Arsenal. Winning,
Actually, with
winning
Ray,
again. And then you keep talking about Arsenal winning, Ray.
This is a
It's
diversion
terrible.
from the norm here. This is a diversion from the norm. As with the
How's
Interlull,
that? Tom's always chaos.
as with the Interlull, we need to ease ourselves back into normal podcasting, and Tom is helping us to do that tonight.
I don't know he's not helping us, Ray. I don't know. He's just coming in here, just messing
Lots of
this
help.
whole
Thomas
thing up.
Chaos
Lots of help.
Ross.
This is
I
the
could
type of
probably win the upset pick challenge joining it in April. I'm just saying.
Would that be your ring name, Tom?
All right,
Thomas
Tom.
Chaotic Ross.
Just for out of interest, who would you pick as your upset this week?
Well, I'd get a lot of points if I pick Leeds.
You would. Well, you have to.
Yeah, I'd actually
They
get
would
the
have
most
to
points
get a
possible, would I
result,
not?
Tom. They would have to get a
Which
result.
we will. We're due. Even the Harlem Globetrotters lose occasionally.
Yeah, but that's an exhibition.
We'll make it look
they
like
let you win. Harlem Globetrotters let you win. All right. Tom, your prediction for Saturday so we can scorn you when it doesn't happen.
What Leeds? I actually think we're going to win this 2-1, like we usually do at Highbury.
Okay, I think we'll
Usually at
win. There he goes, disclaimer. I said Highbury. Emirates, right? Say Emirates, Tom.
I actually made all the Arsenal fans at work watch all the times that we beat them in the 90s.
How many times is that?
4.
Well, I found about 4. I found about 4 of them. No.
It
happens
fair.
all the
No,
time.
it's
It
probably
happens all
it's
the
probably
time.
more than that. If I remember rightly, in all fairness, right, your record at Ellen Road in the 90s was quite good, but then we would actually do you at Highbury. I don't know why it just works out that way.
All right. You are going for a 2-1 win for Leeds. I'll go for a 2-0 win for Arsenal. Gary?
4-1. It's not even gonna.
It's so upset.
You get a goal because we cannot help ourselves. We just
4-1.
we seem to always give up a
I've
goal.
upset
So
I've upset his balance. I threw his equilibrium off.
Got him off his game a little bit. Yeah.
Gary's not going to be right for road
4-1
trip.
is not bad. Tony, you can go right in the middle there. 3-1 or 3-0?
You said it first, 3-1. That's what I was
3-1.
going to go for.
Okay. That's what I thought would happen. Okay. Let's see what happens on Saturday, you know. You can stick around, Tom. We're going to talk about the Premier Premier League Hall of Fame.
Oh,
Premier League Hall of Fame.
so
Arsene
who went in
Wenger
it?
and Alex Ferguson have been
Put them both
inducted
in
into.
together.
They both went
They
into
didn't
the
put them
Premier
both in
League.
at the same time.
They
Nah.
both
survive?
went in at the same
Did
time.
they survive? Did they survive?
If I was Ferguson, I'd be furious. I'd be like, I won it like 200 times. He won it 3. And you put me in together.
Yeah. Alex Ferguson won it when Leeds were in the division, so it was obviously much easier
It's true.
for
got that right.
Manchester United to. It was 6 easy points every year. Oh, we're playing
True.
Leeds.
Yeah. No, you got that wrong. The actual team talk was when they were losing 3-0 at Spurs, he turned around to his team and went, lads, it's Tottenham. And then won
Yeah.
5-3.
Yeah. No, actually, he said it's Tottenham. They're just like Leeds. That's what he actually
That's
said.
not true. That's not true. We were always one of their more difficult games because of how vicious the atmosphere was. They've all Neville and that have all openly acknowledged that. So you're not what's the word? You're not gonna reel me in with that. Got to work harder, Raymond. Got to work harder.
So, listen, a good achievement for Arsene Wenger to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. You would agree?
Of course it is. And of course he's what I've always said that he was treated shambolically by your fan base.
Toward the end.
To be fair though, right? I say that
Fans
from a
and the
team where the
players.
fans went to Bielsa's house when he got sacked. So like we actually respect good managers that work hard for us and things like that. Whereas Arsenal were like, we're going to take banners saying Wenger out to WrestleMania. Yeah, that happened. I saw one. Deserve more.
For me,
You know what? There's levels to this thing. You don't want to get it once again.
There's levels.
When you hit a certain level, people stop deserving respect, do they?
There's
Says a lot
levels
about
to this thing, and Leeds only know of the first level.
That's probably true. They don't go too high. They don't go too high about this thing.
But shouldn't
that's
they
Leeds-ish.
stagger giving these to the managers the Hall of Fame?
You know what? If you were consistently winning things and playing, in the top, finishing in the top 3 and 4, you'd understand what it means when you're struggling and you're hitting 5th and not having an opportunity to win anything.
We didn't even consistently finish in the top 3 or 4 in the championship. So I don't know what you're expecting from us.
That's why I'm saying there's levels to this thing you just don't get.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mourinho
I
to
get
be
it.
in
I
the Hall
just
of
know
Fame
we
next
ain't
year.
going to do it.
So that's what.
the thing
Yeah.
as well. Yeah.
Tony, what have you got?
Said is Mourinho to be in the Hall of Fame next year?
Did he win?
I think it's
He
because
won
he's still
through?
active. He will when he actually retires from management, I suspect.
So what's the criteria, Tony? Does he have to win? Do you have to win a certain amount of trophies? I don't know. If there's a
I don't
criteria.
know. I don't work for the FA.
No. He would definitely get in it once he's retired. They don't give it to active players or managers, to my knowledge.
Who will get into it? Who will get in there?
Jose Mourinho, because only
Oh.
won it 2 or 3 times. We won it the same amount as Wenger if it's 3. So I'm not even saying that to disrespect Wenger. I'm just more the fact of I can't see a time where Jose Mourinho wouldn't get into a Hall of Fame. I know his tenure at Tottenham sort of then should argue that they should take all his trophies away,
And Man
but
United.
they won't.
But the players fucked him over on both of them. Just kind of like the players started to under Wenger. And did more so under the
Well, we
next
don't want
manager.
you don't want the criteria to be just too easy to get into the Hall of Fame. You know.
That's why I was saying earlier, so you stagger it, so you do Ferguson, then do Wenger.
Mm-hmm.
Why do
Yeah.
them in the same year?
Yeah.
Find out how many he's won.
Who? Mourinho or Wenger?
Mourinho's won the Premier League 3 times. So, yeah, why wouldn't he get into it?
Yeah. Has he won? He's won it with Chelsea 3 times.
Yeah, but he
Yeah.
won it twice in his first stint, and then he won it in 2014-15. So,
Okay.
They won 22 trophies when Beresin owned them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's somewhat ironic that they're the best of friends now. Arsene Wenger and Alex Ferguson. There must be
because
some.
the end isn't near. You know, the light under the tunnel, the pearly gates, the elevator down
Could
to the
there,
hot
could there
place.
be that much hate when you're still sitting there sharing a bottle of wine?
I don't
I
think they
believe
hated each other at the
when
time.
they were competing, they hated each other. Yes, but I think Alex
I
Ferguson
don't
always.
believe that they did.
You don't believe that they hated each other when they were coaching
The
against each other.
when the rivalry
No,
was at its height.
No, sorry, I've not explained that well. What I mean is, I don't believe they hated each other as much as it came across. I think they both realised that it was box office. It got the attention on them.
You
and
think
not
what
on
was
the
happening
players.
back then is the same as what happens now, where it's false? It's just made up stuff? You don't actually believe that they were actually trying to beat each other every time they went out there, and they got
That's not
upset
what I
when the other
said.
one would say so?
That's
It's what
not
you
what I said.
said. You just
That's
said it was
not what
all
he said.
entertainment, and I don't
That's not
believe
what I said.
I don't
Tony,
believe
did
for
I say
one
that?
I don't believe football in the past was about entertainment. They weren't doing this to make you smile and put a smile on your face and you
Again,
bring your
if
popcorn
you'd let me
to the
finish,
match.
if
That's
you'd
what
let
you
me finish
said.
before
No,
if
but
you
you're
let me
just going to say
finish
more
before you
nonsense. I've
butted in
heard
and
enough
told
of
me I
it.
said
I've heard the
something I never
nonsense.
said. No,
Welcome
what
to
I
how
said
I
was,
feel when I join this show.
no, what I
Gary
said
just
was,
going and going.
they knew by putting the attention on them, it took the heat off the players, which Alex Ferguson was very good at. He was very good at taking pressure off his players so they could go out and play football. Wenger did the same.
What does that have to do with what you just said? We were just talking about the hatred between the managers, and you're saying it's not what happened. It was all entertainment. That's what you said. And what does that have to do with taking the pressure off his players?
You said that, Gary.
Huh?
You
You
said
said
that.
that.
I never
I
said.
didn't say
Well,
I didn't say anything about
I
players
said
in any
they
of this.
made.
I never brought players up. He did. Mr. Tom brought up the players. I didn't bring up players.
I said that they took heat off the players by
What was the question?
exaggerating
Ray
their
had a question
rivalry.
about the hatred between the managers.
Yeah, and I said I don't think they hate each other as much as it came across.
And you said it
I don't
was
think that's
for
an unfair
entertainment
comment to make.
purposes, is what you said.
No, I said they exaggerated it for entertainment purposes because it's what the media wanted
You
to
said
hear.
it was for entertainment
So they just
purposes.
gave it to them.
That's what you just said.
Not
You just said
entirely.
it just now. They
No.
exaggerated it for
believe-
entertainment purposes.
So you
So it
believe
wasn't real, is
Pizzagate?
what you're saying.
You believe Pizzagate was entertainment? You believe Arsene
No.
Wenger being banished to the wherever
No.
he was going to be put by the referee, had nowhere to go at Old
No,
Trafford?
that was hilarious. That was hilarious.
You
We
believe
didn't- they were like,
um,
"Oh, go up to heaven."
Roy Keane and Patrick Vieira grabbing each other's necks at Highbury? You believe that was all WWE entertainment?
No, they obviously were not on each other's Christmas cards lists at the time, right? That was
Hey,
But then were Wenger and Ferguson choking each other? You comparing two things, they ain't the same. They weren't going to battle. They were like generals in a war that would never actually go touch each other.
You believe Arsene Wenger's quips to Alex Ferguson saying everybody thinks their wife is the prettiest wasn't real?
I think a lot of words can be real. Yeah,
Oh no! Look at
but
this
they're
nonsense
words.
he's talking about. Please,
I never
please,
said it was
nonsense
fake.
and then nonsense,
I never
and he
said it
just
was
piles
fake.
on
I
more
just said
nonsense
they
on top of it.
exaggerated aspects. The first thing I said was that they exaggerated aspects of it, and they don't hate each other as much as people probably think they
You
did.
just
That is
and
what I said.
you actually
And I
A
used the
still
word
believe
professor
that.
does not get
entertainment.
And I
upset
still
You
very
believe
actually
much.
used the word entertainment, Mr. Tom. Go back and listen
No,
to what
you
you just
used the
said.
word entertainment.
I
I
did
said
not.
they
I never used entertainment
created
until you
box
brought it
office.
up. I never
Tony, what
responded
happened?
to it until you brought up entertainment. I said they hated each other.
Steven says competition pushes people to extremes. Once competition is over, things change. Ali, Frazier. But immediately after the final whistle is blown, Arsene Wenger goes up to Alex Ferguson's office and they have a glass of wine together. And now, they have said a lot of complimentary things about each other. Even Tom, do you think Alex Ferguson now recognizes or did recognize
Oh
Arsene
wait,
Wenger as
so
his
they had
equal?
the wine after they played each other. They had the wine
Yeah.
after the matches.
Yeah.
So they don't hate each other then. So I was right.
When they were like, I like you, Mr. Tom, but I'm not sitting back and letting you talk bad about anybody. If I feel like I need to respond to it, I will, and we're gonna fight. And then afterwards, we're gonna go get some wine afterwards. All right, Mr. Tom. But it doesn't mean
And some
I'm not gonna go after you, buddy.
Gary, chicken nuggets and wine.
Chicken nuggets
I
and
love
wine,
chicken nuggets. Do you know they've gone up
chicken
in
nugget
price? I was not
crisps,
impressed.
and
No,
chicken
they used to be
flavor
less than a
crisps.
fiver, and now they're more than a fiver. It's unacceptable. But it's the way of the world, eh?
All right. Tony, I'm going to let
This
you
is great.
adjudicate what just happened. So please summarize who was at fault between Tom and Gary.
Ray.
Okay.
Because you brought fucking Tom on, knowing Tom would start shit. Then fucking Gary went Darth Sith of New Jersey without his hoodie on. Gary,
Listen,
go get your hoodie.
After I sent the link to Tom, I did wonder if people would tune out at this point of the video or not. But I was like,
Did they?
it's the interlull. We're starting to get back up to speed again, and we can have a little bit of proper banter between Leeds and Arsenal here.
Look, the Sith Lord.
It's a hoodie, a hood off.
I feel like I'm in danger.
I know, you better go hide.
Things are going to start shaking behind you, Tom, right now.
Hold on, Tom.
I still love how that went on for about 7 minutes. And then Ray just goes casually. So they sat in their office after the game and had a glass of wine. I'm like, wait a minute. We just glossed over that. Wait a minute. But beautiful.
There is evidence that they maybe liked each other a little bit because Van Persie was sold to Man United.
Here you go, Tom. He's come rescue you.
What's his name again?
What is that?
Grogu.
Grogu.
He's a Grogu.
Oh, they named it.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Okay.
I've
we
never
can
seen it.
we can roll this up a little bit. Arsene Wenger, Gary, 3 league titles for Arsenal, 7 FA Cups, numerous charity shields in his 22 seasons for Arsenal. You can probably divide his time up in the first 10 years between 1996 and 2006. We had won 3 league titles and gone to a Champions League final. The intervening 12 years was a little bit more difficult with a trophy drought and 3 FA Cups.
Yeah, no, I mean, Wenger definitely wins it, right? I mean, it's not necessarily really close, but Wenger did a lot for football in general. So, and then in the
I
Premier League as
disagree
far as
with you, Ray. I liked watching us in the championship.
In the Champions League, you liked watching us
Champions League.
in the Champions League, yeah. For me, I think 2013, 2014 was the time maybe Arsene Wenger should have bowed out 3 or 4 years earlier than he actually did. You know,
that's kind of, for me, that's part of the thing is that he said, you know, he loved the club, and this happens all the time, and holding on, and not really setting the team up for future success once he left, and basically letting it kind of wilter in his hands and not like letting it spring to life, you know, after he was gone, kind of thing. And that, you know, they both managers kind of did that to respect to their teams.
yeah.
And but they would claim love for the team, but they left the team in a little bit of a, based on where they came from, in shambles, basically, right?
Yeah.
Arsenal's had to go in there and pretty much clean shop all the way from just below the manager, just below the owner, to pretty much everybody else involved in the squad. If you look at what there's not that many players from Wenger's days left. You know, there's only one player from his starting 11 that's still around, right? So
The great Granit
they've
Xhaka.
had to scorch the earth to some degree to get this thing right again. When they had a good manager and they were just doing some really bad things. So, yeah.
I think we're getting a little bit of interference to your microphone from the hoodie. Maybe, Harry. But yeah, good points.
Not a little bit, but a lot.
Tony, where was your point of breakage with Arsene Wenger?
Oh, probably a year before he
Take
got
your
fired.
time.
A year before he got fired, I would say.
Season will be over by the time he answers.
Because here you go. Ray
It'll be
Guardiola.
Friday, but yeah,
Gary wanted to laugh. He knows he wanted to laugh.
This is what happens though. You ask Tony a question and then he goes off on a tangent.
2017, Tony.
Yeah.
2016, a year or two before he actually left.
Yep. And I'm still waiting for he was going to tell us the real story of what went on the last few years of how he didn't have near as much control as he said. Wasn't in his book. We'll never hear it. But he didn't have all the power because they brought in the whatever the fuck company that was called Stats DNA. Is that what it is?
Stats DNA, and maybe David Dean leaving had a big influence on.
Yeah, but
Arsene
if he
Wenger.
were left, 2 years sooner, more they possibly could have
And
picked
then-
up a manager called
then-
Klopp, right? I mean,
Yeah,
It's still my turn, Gary. Sorry.
Yeah, but you're
Ray
sitting
asked
here
me the
rambling about
question.
I don't want to know what it is. We're like still waiting for you to answer the first question. We moved
He
on,
asked me
man.
when the line was. I said it was 2016
We
or
would've had-
17.
white noise we would have had. We're waiting.
No, we wouldn't. I get fucking interrupted like I always get fucking interrupted. That's why I'm just here and
Tony, I had crab cakes for supper, for dinner, right? Crab cakes consists of good meat and it consists of filler. We want you to be the good meat in the podcast, not the filler. We don't want breadcrumbs. We want nice big.
Well,
chunk.
let me answer your fucking question, Ray. Silly, Ray.
I think that's a good analogy.
Were we a bad team in 2008?
2008? No.
Should we have won in 2016 instead of the like 5,000 to 1 shots or 10,000 to 1?
No.
We were a better team.
We
The
were.
same way that Leeds doesn't beat us, it's the same reason why Leicester won.
Yeah.
It's just the better team won on the day, and that's how it works.
You can have.
all these if, ands, and
Mm.
maybes and stuff, but guess what? We didn't win the games we were supposed to win. We had opportunities to win them regardless of who was sitting in front of goal. We didn't do it. The job. We didn't do the job.
You can
You
have
beat 'em
8 or
twice,
9
but
good
they beat
players, but
everyone
if you
else.
don't have a striker that can put away chances that were put on a plate for him, Olivier Giroud, and you don't put those away, you're not going to win the league title.
And if
And
you keep going back to the same well and the well is dry, guess what? The well will be dry once again. At some point, somebody has to say, you know what? We keep going this way and it's not working. Maybe we should try something a little bit different.
It was
I don't
also
know.
the center backs.
0066, welcome. Good evening, gentlemen. Been listening in the background. Hope everyone's good. Looking forward to a weekend of good results. And good results
poor guy.
mean bad things. Bad things for Tom. Good results for us mean bad things for you, Tom. Player power came into effect at that time, Tony. Giving Gallus the number 10 was my headed moment. Yeah. Losing to Aston Villa in the opening day 3-1. I think it was 2013. That was when I was like, enough is enough, because I think Van Persie had been sold to United at that point, which should have really been the end in of itself for me. Selling
Yeah,
to
and
a
I think I
major
was
level.
screaming through some of those last years going, can we just play our best 11 players? Screw whether they're out of position, because the players you have in those positions just aren't working. Can we please just play our best? So we have people on the bench that are better than players on the pitch, and it's like you're just struggling watching this, what we were putting out there, right? Like you said, Van Persie has his best season with you, and then you let him go. What? What?
Yeah. I don't think
The man's finally healthy, gets through a good season, scores what he scored 31 goals or something like that.
And who did we get from
Does that.
United? We got Sylvester. We got Mikkel Sylvester.
That's the difference between you and Man United.
Yeah, Alex Ferguson would not have done that
They
for
would
us.
they take your best player. You get the player they don't want. That was the difference. And I'm not saying I'd be a dick. It's true.
But
it's
if
true.
Wenger was, a better manager, he wouldn't have let that happen on his
That's
watch. At some point, you got to go, dude. What are you doing? You're saying you're all about Arsenal. You're looking for you want to do the best for Arsenal, but you put them in a situation where they can't. You're giving them less chances to succeed.
I'm mindful of many people who will be watching this who will not have a bad word said about Arsene Wenger. And listen, he's given us some great years. He gave us many, many, many good years, but there was just a few years too many.
Well, that's like
Yeah, but you're
you have
trying to give him like
top
5
players
more
that stay
bad
around
years
too
that he
long,
deserves, right?
and they don't just walk away when they should, right? Like you've got top players that just stay around until the end. Like Ronaldo should have never come back to Manchester United. That just was not. That made no sense because he wasn't going to get them back to where they wanted to be, and you see how it ended, right? All those things he's done for them, but the last thing the last taste in their mouth is what he did to the club, right? He set him back until he actually had to leave and he got better. That's not the way you wanted to go out. That's why sometimes you need to go out before. You need to get off the stop before you hit your destination.
Ray, I have a question for you.
Yes, Tony.
Was it the same year that Van Persie got the red card in the Champions League? Was that the same year he left?
The same calendar year, maybe, yes. I don't know for sure.
I think it is.
Yeah, maybe that was in the spring. It was a quarterfinal against Barcelona. He plays on and he gets sent off because he's supposed to have heard a whistle.
That nobody heard.
In a stadium of 90,000 people. And then he sold, in September, August, September. But yeah, Alex Ferguson would not have given us a Ruud van Nistelrooy or,
No.
you know,
If Danny Welbeck scored 30 goals for Manchester United in a season, Arsenal wouldn't have even wasted their time making a bid because Man United would have told them to piss off.
yeah.
But they ask you for your players, and you go, how much are you offering?
Well, one player,
That's the one player you
No,
couldn't
but
afford to let go.
Yeah.
Look at all the strikers around that time. Tell me why it would ever make any sense to let go the one player that you haven't had for a while.
It didn't make
Look on
sense.
both sides of that
Mm.
time period.
Yeah.
Right. He would show you. He had it in him to get goals, but he couldn't play a whole season. He finally plays a majority of the games, does that, and you're like, it's time for you to go. Can't have
And
that here. What?
definitely. And it was those years were when Arsenal were always a piece or two away from winning major trophies. We were
couldn't
good
keep
enough to get
we couldn't
fourth.
keep
We were good
couldn't keep the
enough to
pieces
get
either
third.
healthy or they got knocked out of season, out of seasons,
Hmm.
and they never replaced them.
Yeah.
Right? So you come back the next season with different holes or with more holes.
But you're forgetting something here, fellas.
Hmm.
What did we do?
What
We
did we
built
do?
a stadium in a time that there wasn't much TV money. I'm sure Spurs stadiums.
We built a
What we pay
stadium
for
in the
now?
time and what? But there wasn't.
When there wasn't as much TV money.
Oh,
But
We
they
built a
built it
stadium
for
now, it'd be paid for
a legitimate reason.
time.
they
But then
built
the
it because they
TV
had
money
outgrown.
changed all of that. But it didn't mean that for that reason you couldn't do a better job with your recruitment and your
They
And
were
also-
doing a
You
good
were
management.
job.
unlucky. Your
We were
timing was
unlucky.
very unfortunate.
Yeah, it was unlucky, but it wasn't like they couldn't get the players that they needed. You know what I mean?
They
Like
got the
we were making
players they
excuses,
needed.
like, you know what? Well, because you spent all that money on the stadium, right? Which means you're bringing in more revenue. But then on top of that, every team's getting more money now, including you. So the money that you weren't getting from TV is now coming in. Plus, you have a bigger stadium bringing in money. But if you manage your finances and your player recruitment wrong, guess what? It looks the way it did.
Mhm.
I don't think it was a case of, well, unless you guys could tell me differently, that they got the stadium and that stadium is the reason why they recruited badly and managed their squad as
No,
bad
they
as they
got
did.
they got the stadium, and Wenger became preoccupied with paying back the stadium and
Why would
started
a manager care? Why does
Because
he
he's a
care
fucking
about
professor
the
of
stadium
economics.
because
when
he
in
was it
reality
was
he's
his
supposed to be
project.
caring about
He's a manager,
the team?
And he's a
the old
professor of
school manager.
economics.
Yeah, but why does like in general? Why do you care about money coming in to pay back a stadium
There
when
was
in
many
reality
reasons, Gary,
managing the
because
players?
it was his vision. It was part of his vision to move from Highbury to a bigger
But what
stadium.
gets people in the seats and pays that back? The players on the
And,
pitch, the 11 players
but
on the pitch.
also entertaining
They have
Tony
the
football.
players,
Marshall
Gary.
cares.
And entertainment football with crappy players is not entertainment football. You have to have quality players for the
We had
entertainment on the
quality
pitch to
players.
be worth the
Bad
money to
luck.
spend on the ticket. Right? It has to be the 11 players on the pitch that make it entertaining.
And
Do
we
we
had
have
players
Was it
like
entertaining? Was it entertaining what you
Yeah.
saw on the pitch?
Yeah.
I liked
was?
what I seen with
And we
Eduardo
lost
on
a
the
lot.
pitch.
we were
That-
playing.
I
Yeah,
think
we
it-
lost games, but we played entertaining football. Van Persie, as you said, scored many goals that season. Fabregas was a
It's all
great
one
player
season,
for us.
but we're talking about those last number of years, right, of football.
Well,
They
which
weren't
period
what
are you
you
talking
wanted them.
about?
No, but you're saying it's entertainment. Like you're saying, since they moved into Highbury, it was entertainment. Was it
There-
entertaining most seasons, or
I
was it
think you can
entertaining
break.
for one or
I
two
think you
seasons?
could break the Emirates under Arsene Wenger. You could break the.
It was
the
entertaining because it was 4-3 games we'd be winning. We'd be winning 4-3. They were entertaining to watch.
What? It also depends what time you're talking about. If it's
Tell
when
the
we
players
just,
threw him under the bus and stopped playing.
if it's when we just moved to the Emirates for 4 or 5 years, it was very entertaining football up until about 2014, 2015, and then Arsene Wenger started to, the players didn't believe. We had players who were not of the required standard. The recruitment was not good. We got Mustafi in. There's a clear difference between Mustafi and say Vermaelen,
And every
or Mertesacker.
out of that, every what if came out of that. Every scenario, every play that we brought in versus who we were talking to at the time, right?
You're
You're
actually
looking at
missing the start
Conte
of it,
and you
right?
get Mustafi, right?
Do you know? Do
You're
you know
looking
who
at
was
this
the
player you
start
could
of
have
it,
got.
Greg?
There's all these players we did not
Hmm.
pick up. There's all these what ifs. I had all these players on my list, but we never
Yeah.
brought them all in, right?
Let's Tony.
Ray, do you know where it went bad?
Where?
What player?
Gallus.
Nope.
Mustafi.
Just say the Eduardo injury.
Nope. That was part of it, but in the final
Ryan
end, it was
Shawcross.
Gabriel Paulista, the first player bought by the Stats DNA. Then Mustafi was the second player bought by Stats DNA.
Yeah. We went from Vermaelen and Mertesacker.
We were trying to play Moneyball and we fucking failed at it. That's what happened.
Yeah, when you think about, we're talking about Saliba and Gabriel Magalhaes right now, and we had Vermaelen, we had Mertesacker, who's very good at reading the game, slow
and-
but good at reading the game, and we
And
went
Ray?
to Mustafi and Paulista.
And Paulista was actually good. Nobody else could speak Portuguese. Played him on the right wing. He did good. Center back, shit. White ring, good. Because he only had to communicate with one person. The right center back.
Yeah,
Mhm.
But the person that was in charge of that didn't notice, right? So that's the problem, right? When
Yeah.
you say you're saying these things, and it's like, well, who was in charge of that situation at that point, and couldn't
It
see the
wasn't
difference.
Wenger.
Wenger is putting the players on. He wasn't putting the players on positions on the pitch.
He's not the one picking the players.
So
No. Picking them, but putting them on the pitch is a different story, right?
as Gary said, and Tom is going to hate this, there are levels to this. We went from being the Invincibles, leaving Highbury, being in the Champions League final, going to the Emirates, making that move, and as Wenger said, you have to create memories within that stadium in order to feel like it's a home soil that you can win consistently on. Those early teams, as Tony said, were
Take it from me. I
quite
know all
good.
about new stadiums and what they're supposed to bring, and they don't always bring you good things. I mean, the Dallas Cowboys bought a new stadium, and day one they lost. They lost the first game in that stadium.
Yeah.
That was basically that just sets it up for the rest of that whole time
Barry,
they've been
can
in
you
that stadium.
answer me one question?
Hmm.
Why the hell did they build a stadium with a roof that can open?
So the grass could get water,
Yeah, sunlight can come in. I don't know.
So
sunlight.
Yeah, there's all these memes on the Cowboys, right? It's terrible. I mean, this is why when people say they laugh at the Arsenal fans.
How many playoff games have they won since the last Super Bowl, Gary?
They won like 3, I think.
All right. So
Four.
the game change on Wenger was hard to watch. Said the assembled,
And he didn't keep up with the Joneses in the sense that as he said right there, the game changed and Arsenal did not change with it. Right, the game required a new thought process in how to get your players.
And also,
within a system.
he had the early advantage in knowing the French players as they were coming through as kids.
But you know what? That's when you're supposed to take that knowledge and that expertise at the time
the type of card
and use it to get the next French connection, essentially, right? Because there's Brazil, there's the whole Brazil connection, and all these things where you can get these players before their time, and they're on your radar before your time, and then because the reason why he knew about the French because he had somebody there, right?
Exactly. Well, yeah, he had somebody there, but he also came from there and knew the setup. Good evening, Stefan. We are having a animated discussion about the
His
Emirates
problem
years.
was he
Oh, she
tried to
rang.
reinvent the wheel. He tried to reinvent the wheel in like 20 years after he first invented it, except the problem was the wheel was out of date, and the wheel ended up being run in a race with Chelsea, who had
Yeah,
unlimited funds.
yeah, yeah.
Ultimately,
But then that's why you have to. That's when you start having to coach and be a better coach, right?
yeah,
Because you get and over it and get players that you can get to
Identify
overachieve.
the right kind
Because
of
what no,
players.
overachieve is key to this whole thing because you're not going to get the top players where when they have a dip in form, it dips down that not that much as opposed to well, if I can get them to play over where they are, better overachieving. That's what you want out of your coaches. And that's what some of the best coaches will do. They'll take any player and make them better in their system, no matter what.
Mhm.
When they
Yeah,
leave, you're like, why are they not so good? Well, it's probably because they're not part of the Arsenal way, for example, right?
I know
yeah,
this. This happened with my own team. This is literally happening now.
yeah.
Why ain't half my team as good as they were 2 years ago under Bielsa? I know what you're saying, Gary. This is what is happening in my team.
Yeah.
You know what? And you have to be disciplined. And Bielsa was disciplined in the way that he managed and coached his players. And he would ask them to do things that you're like, well, why are you doing that? And he's like, well, if we're gonna do it my way, we're not gonna do it 70%. We're gonna do 100%. Right?
Yeah.
And if you follow my lead, we'll be fine. But if you take a step back and don't do what I say, guess what? We're going to have dips and holes in our style of play, and we're going to get called out for it every time, right? And
Yeah.
that's why you have to play. That's why those teams at the bottom of the table sometimes play it the same way, and they're going to play that way. Sometimes it works. The better teams can overachieve it. The teams right in the middle will get beat out by it, right? Like the Burnleys, right? Burnley, you knew how they were going to play. You knew it, and until you saw it, you didn't realize what it meant.
We
And when you
weren't
saw it,
able.
you're like,
Yeah.
crap. You're not
Yeah.
prepared for it. And by the time you look around, maybe they've got a goal on you, and they're basically laying one onto you for the rest of the game, and you
Um,
come out struggling,
I'm.
right?
Yep. The Samuel said Chelsea, then City came along with money, and this is why you wonder why I big up Liverpool, and they've done it a different way. These are teams that have been propped up by huge amounts of cash being pumped into them. Newcastle's the next one. Chelsea changed the economics from gate to sugar daddy. The club did not
Liverpool have a
have the
great
resources.
PR. They have a great
Because
PR management.
Arsenal could
Liverpool.
have had a sugar daddy, but he
Have
never even
Liverpool
had a board
convinced
seat.
the world? Liverpool have the world convinced that they are like underdogs in this situation, and that like they
No,
win on a
no,
shoestring.
they were not. They were clever with their resources. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but they
Explain that one to me, Rick.
they sold a player for 140 million, so he
Yeah, but
like
that's not.
funded a
But
lot
you
of
got
other
to bring
players.
it. That all the think about all the players they brought in. Those weren't like. You think they were all luck, and that's why it all worked out, and it just clicked for
No,
a three
I'm
four
no
year
that
period,
no.
a 3 to 5 year period.
This is
No,
what I'm
they actually
saying.
did so. Like they got lucky with the
I
one
got a
sale,
question
but
for
they
you,
brought
Ray.
in answers to all those questions
I'm
that
not
they had
no.
on the
I'm not
squad.
saying they got lucky. I'm saying they're not an underdog, but
They're
Yeah,
not
they
an
look like they
underdog.
are.
You're saying they're not an underdog in a world where City and Chelsea and Newcastle live and
They're not an
prosper.
underdog in a world where they pay a player 400 grand a week, and then
Who are
I'm
they
supposed to
paying?
sit here with my team and act like they're an
Who
underdog.
they pay
Who
400
are
a week
Liverpool
right
paying
now?
400
Salah,
grand a week?
Salah,
I don't
or
know.
Now,
whatever it
He's
now,
is.
not
but we're
getting paid
They're
we're
that
we're
paying
much.
him a
talking
lot of
about when
money.
they played in the
He's
Champions
getting
League
paid
final in
that
back-to-back
now
seasons,
on the
and
back of
then
winning
were on a
things.
streak to get
Yeah.
100 points in the league, right? To go undefeated and all of that. That wasn't when he was making 400. You're talking about what he's doing
No,
right
no, no,
now.
no, no.
That's not the
I'm not
same.
saying did that.
That
I'm not. No,
the
I'm saying
400
that he
mil
got
is
it
not
now.
equivalent. That's not even. How can you bring that up now? But that's not the reason why they were winning back then. That they weren't winning because he was getting 400K a week
No, no,
5
but they
years
can
ago.
afford to pay it. But they can
Yeah,
afford to
now
pay it.
because guess what? They let Mane go, right?
That's
They sold
That's
their
why-
soul to the devil and expected to
Yes,
get something
Tom.
in
Come on
return.
now.
Didn't work. It didn't
No, I
work.
don't care why they could afford to pay it, but they could afford to pay it. They're not skint.
They
That is my
because
point.
they
They're not
built
skint.
they built their success and they got paid off the back of their success.
They've always had a lot of money. It's Liverpool, for fuck's sake.
You're just
No,
making things
Liverpool,
up
no,
now,
Liverpool.
Mr. Tom.
Tony. Tom loses that round. Tony.
I did not lose that round.
I want you to make sense of how we have somebody that owns 30% of a company, never gets a board seat, willing to fully buy the club.
You could keep
Doesn't
going back
give
to
a fuck.
this thing that happened, what, 10, 15 years ago?
You're talking about
No,
Alisher Murizanov or whatever his name is. Musharraf.
Uzmanov.
Uzmanov, yeah. That's ancient history, Tony. Move on.
No, it's not, because we're talking about Wenger's reign. That's what happened.
No, we were just talking about Liverpool.
That's choose of a fucking American property owner over the fucking Russian.
Yeah, look,
Actually, he's a
for
Yugoslavian.
whatever reason, you can't deny that we took the right path. Be it lucky, be whatever. We took the right path, I believe.
Took a wrong path. We just ended up in the
Um,
right.
You
Steven
think
said,
Eventually, you keep
what
on the road.
manager you think?
Ray,
you
you're
think
going
if
down
we,
a pothole road. Eventually, it gets smooth. Correct?
what?
Said you're going down a potholed road. Eventually, it gets smooth somewhere.
what? Can you explain this?
right.
I don't understand. I'm
That
from
makes
America.
perfect sense.
No. Made perfect sense. Made perfect
Okay,
sense.
so then I know something's not right about this. Is Mr. Tom saying I'm backing this up? Like,
I'm not. Let's see if Alonso agrees.
you guys are from the same Midwest, like backwards ass.
No.
stinky-
I'm from this
Bullshit.
Texas in the South, Gary.
Oklahoma's in the south too, Alonso.
I know it's in Midwest.
How's it in the Midwest?
You
with
know
the-
what? You guys are in the same region, all right? So stop
How
it.
many states are on top of us?
That
Before we get to
pothole.
Canada?
Kansas,
4.
Nebraska.
Okay, but no, ask him the question.
All right.
Lonzo. Hopefully, you can make sense of this because I don't know where he's going with
We're
it.
going to have to
We're-
If
wrap
you're
this up. in
driving
30
down a
minutes.
potholed road, eventually the roads
Oh.
get smooth.
What's the question?
There's not a question. There's just, do you understand the phrase?
I do not.
Yeah.
This reminds me, Tom, this reminds me of Eric Cantona,
Sorry, Tony. I just don't know.
Troll.
What you're talking
the
Me,
fish.
me and Tom
Mr.
are
Tom
really
gets it
smart
though,
ones
so
in
everybody,
marine.
it's okay. Mr. Tom gets it,
Mr. Tom, when the
It
trawler
made perfect
goes out
sense. I
to
don't know what
sea.
you're all talking about.
and that,
Exactly.
folks, is
If-
full Nelson podcast logic right there.
Something. The seagulls.
Seagulls. Yeah. Oh, Tony. Chelsea changed the economics. Yeah, the club did not have the resources when we sold RVP and then sold Song. Out of
I
nowhere.
invented football. I know what I'm talking about. Don't worry.
You
was
lost the
bad,
last section. Arsenal weren't a good team to go at.
I didn't. You just don't know. You just don't know Liverpool economics and the PR team. That's all. That's fine.
Liverpool economic.
Or how our roads built. They all interconnect.
Exactly.
Arsene, there's
Exactly.
something to this as well, Stefan. Arsene was stubborn right at the end of his time as well.
Who's Arsene?
Arsene Wenger.
Okay, so that's where that's when you cut him out of this. That's when he gets by, Mr. Tom. You can't come on here and say something like that. If I said something negative about Bielsa, guess what? You would be ready for me to get kicked off the show.
You've said negative things about Leeds for the last 2 hours and 8 minutes.
I just
What
said
are you
you're gonna
talking about?
lose. What? How negative? What is that? What do you mean negative? I
No,
didn't know
no, no.
who
You're
Bielsa
gonna lose.
was.
What do you mean negative? You said you're gonna
No.
lose. You're not
That's
gonna
kind
win.
of how this thing
You're gonna
works.
lose.
You don't understand that some teams win and some teams lose.
Yeah, in life they're winners, they're losers, and that's
Yes,
probably going to be
sometimes there are
Arsenal on
winners.
Saturday.
Anybody who's a winner, hands up. Hands up for the winners.
Ray, can you
Hands
do
up,
me a
hands up,
favor?
hands up. Tony,
Ray,
hands up.
can you do me a favor?
Losers.
Yes.
Loses.
What,
Can
Tony?
you move?
We ain't lost it. We ain't lost
Can you
it.
move Gary down where Alonso is and Alonso up
Oh,
to where
people
Gary
fly.
is?
Why are you reorganizing the show?
Because I want to.
I've never done this before.
Done what?
What way
Guys,
round do you
guys.
want it?
Tell me how to do it, Gary.
Distract the picture, dude.
Drag the picture.
You have a mouse or something? Just move it.
It's not
What are
working.
you doing? What's taking you so long?
I'm not good at it.
What do you mean? You just click on my face and then move it to where Alonso's is. It's
It
not
don't
that hard.
matter.
I just had a small request.
Oh, did it?
Yay!
Wow. That took a long time.
Hey,
Now,
I'm not
Gary,
as good
put
as
your
you,
hood
Gary.
back up.
I'm not as good
No.
as you.
Tom,
I'll
get your
admit
Then
that.
you couldn't hear me with the hood on.
I didn't know that I've riled Gary right up.
Rile me up.
He's
You're
being
talking
surly.
nonsense
That's
once
what-
again.
So,
That's what
drama
I do.
channel? No, we're not a drama channel, but we're just having a little bit of fun tonight. You know what I mean?
Drama channel. Where did that come from?
We were just talking about potholes and smooth
these
roads
two.
for like 5
At the
minutes.
bottom.
How do you not understand that?
Tony,
never heard-
I wasn't
Tony,
remotely
Tony,
involved
explain
in that
Please don't try to
conversation.
explain it.
I just knew what he was talking about. That was all.
I know you don't. You're just trying to be. Yeah.
There, Tony. Had we gone with
Here-
Usmanov, we would have been in the same boat as Chelsea with no
Mhm.
owner now.
Yeah, we'd have 22 trophies and I'd be fucking happy.
You actually think Arsenal would have done it the right way? That's the problem. You have.
There is a question, a hypothetical question about what's happened in a city. Would we be happy 20 years from now if we won? And Tom, we can include Leeds in this. If Leeds get bought out and you win 10 trophies in 15 years, are you happy with it then afterwards?
It depends who buy. It's easy to say no. It's easy. No. It's easy to say it now.
A country
But
like
I would-
Man City. Country like
I'd
Man
really.
City.
No, it's easy to say it because I have no stake in. Like, if it happened, I can't prevent it. See, so,
Yeah, we're
but
powerless.
realistically, I would rather not be involved in. I'd rather my football club not be owned by something that is affiliated with, what's the phrase, problematic blood money or whatever you want to call it.
Stop right there, Tom. Did you read what the FA did? Which would actually ban all American owners as well. If you do human rights violations, you can be kicked out. The owner just booted. So that could, even Americans, you could make a case to be booted.
Yeah, but you're kicking out 12 clubs then out of the league, for instance. You know what I mean?
But I'm just saying, we're not squeaky clean either.
No, but there's levels to this thing.
There is. He's right. Like, you're very rarely going to find a millionaire that got their money through honest means, right? Because capitalism is what it is. However, I don't know the right way to explain it, but basically, no one ever sits there and thinks like the Boston Celtics got their money through blood diamonds, do they? I actually don't know if they did. Just
You know what the problem is with the FA allowing.
There wasn't any money.
They
in
all they
it
cared
back then,
about was
Tom.
money. They didn't really care about where the money came from, whether it had blood on it, maybe it had drugs on it. They didn't really care as long as they got the money. That's really all they cared about. That's the only reason why they're doing this. They're not doing this because they want to improve the league. The league, I think, would have always been there, depending on
Yeah,
there might have been more.
I
There might have been
will
more
say-
parity. There
They
might have been
should've
more
did that.
parity in the league, which
Why
would
didn't they do
still
that with
also make it
Newcastle
better.
if they were gonna do
You
it?
know
Just-
what?
And Tony, go ahead.
I said, why didn't they do that with Newcastle? They knew where their money was.
Yeah, but they already let City in. So
The
if they're
gates
gonna
open.
clean it up, they have to
Yeah.
clean it up for all the squads. So
Yeah.
once they
Yeah.
let City in and they
Yeah.
weren't gonna change it, it didn't really at that point the
Yeah.
toothpaste is out of the tube and you're
Yeah.
not gonna put it back in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to
Yeah.
publicly say it, but Gary's right.
They look
Okay.
kind of they
Timestamp,
don't want to go back
please.
on their word. They just opened up the league to the world.
Yeah. And look, I always say the FA can do, the Premier League can do anything to their product, and they're not going to hurt this product. They can do,
Not while it has the best players in the world in it. No.
yeah, or the television that is worldwide, and it's a travesty that
We're
you
just
can't.
upset. Stefan has been out of this thing for a while. We bring him
Yeah.
back to whatever this is. What is this that we brought him back to? I guess.
He's come back to
Um,
greatness.
This is us warming up again after the interlull. You know, we're going to be a little bit rusty. There's going to be a little bit of drama, but this is what you get until we get fully
That's
up
what
and
happens
running.
when you bring the Darth Shift of New Jersey on.
Yeah, no,
There's
see,
no-
I mean,
there's no
Stefan, like I
drama.
said, that's the problem is when you like say like NFL owners, like I don't think they're going to, they haven't done it yet. I don't know if they're going to ever go and get foreign investment, right?
Yeah.
And that, to some degree, keeps it somewhat some integrity or whatever you want to call it, or some nationality to what's going on, right?
Jacksonville.
Because a
What
lot
about
of times
Jacksonville?
some of these owners have been fans,
Jacksonville, yeah.
right? Same thing in like baseball. A lot of these owners have been fans of teams, and
Yeah.
they maybe not of the team they're in, but they understand the history of that. And same thing in England. If you get any millionaire, billionaire in England to manage the squad, it's gonna no matter if they were a fan of them to begin with, they know the history of football to some degree,
Yeah.
and they will do all they know what to, they would know, they would have that camaraderie with the fans to understand what's going on in their heads because they've been there.
Camaraderie.
Yeah. We asked Tom the question. I think I would have a problem with that type of ownership, but we are powerless as
It's
fans.
easy for us to say it.
Yeah.
We have no actual say ultimately. Like
No.
if Qatar, if the PSG owners turn around tomorrow and went, we're buying Leeds United, and I went, right, I'm not sure I'm comfortable with that, they're still going to buy Leeds United because they'll offer an amount of money that's so obscene that our owner would be stupid to say no, because ultimately it will be his best opportunity to get his money back on what he's actually invested.
Yeah. And
a
very large percentage of your fan base, of Arsenal fan base, whoever, would be happy with the prospect of a lot of money being pumped in to your club as well. Liverpool built their club mostly on the sale of that one player for over 100 million. They don't have that influx of cash now, so it's going to be harder for them to rebuild.
Yeah, so
for me,
though, with Liverpool, they had a couple of decisions. I think they had a couple of decisions to make, right?
Yeah.
What is
For
that?
some reason, they kind of pitted Mane and Salah against each other, so they had to choose one of them. They never fixed their midfield. That doesn't require tons of money.
And look,
right? They made some decisions which have come back to haunt them now. I've listened to Liverpool fans talk about their midfield being a problem for years. Not just yesterday. Like for years, they've said we definitely need to bring in some more help in that midfield area, and they've never done it. They've gotten older and older and older. Like Henderson is a good player, but at some point you need players like him but younger so he can bring them along, and they never did that.
They're at a level. Sorry, I was going to just quickly say, right, they're at a level where they're at a club where if they sell a player, to get maximum money on that player, he needs to be good enough to sell to Real Madrid or Barcelona, ultimately. Yeah. And that's very difficult to do. Like, you can't do that every season, but that's the position they're in. Yeah. Because if they sell to anyone else, they're losing money on that player.
And to some extent, what Gary was saying, we've seen this. We saw the decision between Ozil and Alexis Sanchez. And we had to make that decision. and we've seen our midfield over the last 5 or 6 years
And you need both players. That's the
deteriorate.
problem. You needed
Yeah.
both players, or you needed
And
somebody
our
with equal
midfield still
value
needs
coming
to
in
rebuild, right?
like immediately. They can't be like a project that's going to take
Yeah.
some time because
Yeah.
you just basically
I have
set
a
yourself
question
back.
for Arsenal fans.
Hmm.
Question for, it's a genuine question. Do you think your club would have been better off if you shipped Ozil to Old Trafford and kept Sanchez?
I would have sold both of them.
Yeah. Well, our club would have been better off, I believe, with Alexis Sanchez. We
Nope.
would have probably had more
Look
goals.
at
I
both
don't think the
their
problem. I don't think the
careers.
problem ever was Ozil at that point, though. It was you just didn't have a striker, right?
He didn't
When you
have
a
a
clinical
striker. He didn't have a
like
midfield.
Alexis
behind him.
didn't. Alexis only made himself better in most respects, whereas Ozil
They made each
would have made
other.
people better. We just
You
didn't
had
have
to
good
have both of them.
finishers,
You had
right?
to have both of them
That's
together.
No,
the difference, right?
I agree with what you're saying, Tony, but one player could have existed by himself. They didn't have to be Ant and Deck.
How many goals did he score for United?
How many
How-
goals did what?
Did
Two.
Sanchez score for United?
Probably one goal or two.
I think
More
it
than
was three.
Richarlison has scored for Tottenham.
I think
Yes.
it's three. I think he ended up with 7 total.
Richarlison, top of the flop.
7 total
Yes.
goals.
Yep.
Bamford has outscored Richarlison.
Tony,
That's all I'm going to say.
we didn't have to keep
Our
both players.
our center backs have outscored Richarlison, so it's not really saying much when you bring Bamford into there because our center backs are just scoring as many goals
Then
as
we
he
went and
is.
made a mistake again.
Or
Ozil
actually, they're
could
scoring
be
more goals than he.
Ozil could be an amazing player, but quite frankly, was a fraud.
You know what? I always believed that he was asked to do things he couldn't do, and then people got upset because he wasn't doing it, and then eventually it just became he got put in a bad situation. Like he wasn't going to do
Gary,
those.
no,
The same
no,
reason, the same reason that Pepe wasn't going to track back when he first, when we were having problems with him, right? He wasn't going to do all these other things.
Yeah,
that
but
were
Pepe
required of
would
him.
play. Pepe would play away from home. Up
No,
at
I
Leeds,
get that,
he
but
would
that's
play
when
away from
that.
home up at
But that had
Everton.
nothing to do that. But when he played, when Ozil played, he played, right?
No,
But they coddled him, and that was all Wenger, right?
Ozil would line out, but he wouldn't always play every game. He'd be there, he'd be on the field, but he was a casualty. We were carrying him sometimes. He was a passenger at
So
some time.
you're gonna more likely win a league with Ozil than Alexis at that point. He
No,
got you there. Ozil
I
almost
think
got
you
you
have
I
to
believe
win.
he would have. Alexis Sanchez was more important than
no, but
Ozil.
Ozil actually had you winning one if you could have found somebody to put a ball in the net.
Yeah,
You're
true.
saying no, but that was
Yeah.
the problem. That was the problem.
He
That's
wasn't
why you
fit
didn't win
enough.
one.
He
That's why we
actually
didn't
did
win
have a
one
bad
because
back.
Ozil couldn't put the ball in himself because he's laying up to a striker who couldn't put the ball in the net.
Yeah,
That was
yeah,
the
no,
problem. It
that's
wasn't
fair.
Alexis.
Yeah,
Wasn't
that's when we
Ozil.
had Cazorla. We had Cazorla in that team as well.
But
Remember?
he's in and out of the lineup
Yeah.
again, right?
Yeah. No, I agree with that part. But I think Alexis Sanchez was more valuable to us than Mesut Ozil at the time. Tony's right. Here we are. Tony's right. We should have sold both.
That's the second time he's been told he's right tonight. That's
just people.
the earth must be
why are you
ending.
giving this guy this false hope that he actually is making sense? I just don't get it. I'm sorry. Did I say it out loud? I don't even know what's going on with me. I
Yeah,
got no
no.
filter.
Fucking Captain Surly over here.
Yeah. It's a job to track back, says Stefan, and Ozil couldn't be arsed. He got an easy ride. He definitely got an easy ride from Arsene. When he doesn't want to play a game, he knocked on the manager's
Yeah,
door and said,
he created a monster and then left, Emery and Arteta to clean it up, and
Alex
the team
Ferguson
did
wouldn't
not
on
want
it.
to let him go. Right, for the betterment of the club, they wouldn't let Ozil go.
Yeah, it was probably a PR thing. We felt we couldn't let both of them go.
I
But you got
guaranteed-
nothing. You didn't get either.
hmm
You didn't get a
I
good football
guaranteed
player,
Wenger
and your
had
and
no
your
say on
and your
paying
PR went to
those
crap.
350K a week.
Yeah, and Gary,
Yeah,
you're right. Liverpool were making great decisions with acquisitions and
You
selling
didn't
players,
respond to my comment, right?
and we've started to do that now at Arsenal. Tony, yes, what?
You really think with Wenger, the way he hoarded money, very frugal man, said, okay, let's sign Ozil for 350K a week. You think he said that?
Yeah, but that's the problem. He let that happen on his watch.
He signed off on it.
He let that happen on his watch. So
He didn't
yes,
sign off on it.
maybe he didn't sign the piece of paper, but
Arsene Wenger
he
signed
didn't
off
put his
on it.
hand up and say, no, this is going to be really bad for the club I love.
Oh, was
No,
Arsene Wenger the Arsene we were talking about?
Yeah,
I thought we
Arsene.
were talking
If you
about
cut him out
Arsene
again, he needs to
Jacobs.
go. He needs a timeout. He needs a timeout again.
Okay, done.
That's that
Midstream.
is just like I will not have him come on an Arsenal channel and talk mean about Arsene Wenger, because I
No,
would
but
never
it's
do that
too much
about
fun.
Bielsa. I would
It's
never
too
do that
much
about
fun.
Bielsa. I actually tell you how much I like the guy.
Literally
When you
every
come on
time
here,
he's
it's the
about to
second
say
time.
something.
Don't let it be a third. You're not all right, Mr. Tom?
You got the
Literally-
lineup fucked up again.
Yeah,
right?
got my-
Oh, yeah. I've learned my lesson.
My finger is hovering over that remove button.
You should be dragging Alonso back up to.
We should really wrap this up soon, though, right? Next 10 or 15 minutes. Alonso, what have you got to say?
About what? What have you guys been talking about?
The potholes and can you tell us about the
The
potholes
seagulls and the
Why does
Texas
that
and
not
how
make sense
and
to
how
you?
the streets get clear at some point? Can you tell us about that?
Is that what Oklahoma's saying?
Yeah, that's what Oklahoma's say. They say the
Okay,
potholes.
Alonso.
All right.
Tony,
go out-
please don't explain it anymore. We've got it.
Alonso can go drive 70 miles away, probably.
Okay.
Go
I thought
to
you were
where
talking
they
about this
strip
guy,
oil.
Arsene Jacob. Who's talking about Arsene Jacob? That's what I thought you
Go
were
He's
to an
talking
really
oil
asking to
rig.
get cut.
It's
You were
gonna be on a
asking to get
fucking dirt road.
blocked permanently.
Then you're gonna get to a gravel road. Then you're gonna get to a bumpy fucking highway. Then you're finally
I
gonna
didn't
get to the
ask him to do
smooth,
that, Mr.
nice
Tom.
concrete. Sometime
Okay.
you're gonna drive your car. You're eventually gonna get to smooth road.
Tony, you're still explaining this. I'm serious.
It's easy. Tom got it in a second.
Yeah,
You
no,
guys-
Tom
Brought in
is
4
nonsensical.
times.
He has no
4
clue
times
what you're
I've been brought
talking
in.
about. The man's got the man's level. The man's level is down
Tom,
there.
how long did it take
Bottom
you
rung.
to get what I said?
I
An
instantly
analyst
knew what you
Tom
meant.
is holding onto that bottom rung on with a pinky toe.
14th.
Pinky,
Yeah.
just pinky. That's it.
14th
That's all
place.
he's holding. Tony, it's
14th
okay,
place.
buddy. We really don't know
All right.
about the
Me
potholes.
and Tom make a good duo.
I'm getting.
Yes, you heard about that.
Should we talk about the Premier League fixtures this weekend or just leave it and finish out this conversation?
There's only
It'd be
one
nice to
match
see
this weekend.
City lose, Arsenal win, and then I don't care what happens after that.
Hey, Ray, can we retell Alonso about the one game we did for preview?
The one game we did not preview. Which one was that?
Well, the one we did preview. It's your fucking favorite team, Ray.
Arsenal.
I really care about this match this week game.
What are you talking about?
When we fucking talked about Liverpool and Man City, and nutcase.
BX wants
Yeah,
us to keep
nutcase.
going. BX wants us to keep going with this, whatever this is right now.
Jake's gonna cannot see straight right now. I know it. I know you can't. You cannot see right now. I know it. You're.
Potholes and seagulls.
What I will say is, being as good as we are now, without being, with still having some humility, even though it doesn't sound like it, Tom. being as good as Arsenal is now. We can see how bad things were in the past. We can see how far away we were from things in the past, and we can appreciate where we are now, I'm a veteran, Gary, built different. See, BX is a veteran. He's built different, Gary.
That's true. They are built.
He's in it for the long haul. All right. Where do we go next? Do we continue this conversation?
As long as it has nothing to do with potholes, roads, or smooth surfaces,
Or
Seagull.
move on.
I don't know why Gary can't
And
get a.
if Mr.
All right.
Tom can stay out of the firing line and whatever you want to call it, and not like anything Tony says, then yeah, the show can continue on.
Yeah.
He froze
Okay.
on us. Did he freeze on us?
We can talk about
I'm-
WrestleMania.
I was just politely listening. That was all.
All right. Let's talk about the top 4 situation.
Top 4.
Who cares about that?
Okay. Who cares about that? Let's talk about
The
Let's
top
go
2.
through the Premier League. Let's go through the Premier League then. All right, Tony, Man City at home to Liverpool.
I really care about this one, right? This is
Oh my
my
gosh! Can you just answer the question?
No, you fucking ramble on for 10 minutes or 30 minutes sometimes, Gary.
We give you the floor, and this is what you do with it.
No, you fucking always interrupt me.
Should I hit the trap door?
Yeah.
I am not getting people kicked off this show. Ray, to stop it.
God, Gary's invincible tonight.
Why hasn't fucking
Apart from
Gary
in the
got kicked
debates
off
with
yet?
me, where he loses.
I don't know. I
routinely.
should be. I guess. I don't know what's going on.
You're banning me and Tom when we did nothing. Now we're down here.
Tony, high five, man, to one Gary.
All right, Tony, is Liverpool going to beat City?
I hope so.
Okay, I
probably
think
not.
Liverpool.
Probably
I think
not.
Liverpool could give City a lot to think about this weekend, and I think it could be a 1-1 draw. Tom,
I find it funny how many Arsenal fans this week won. I actually think Liverpool can win at City, and I'll sit there like, what, based on what? Because you want it to happen. It will be
Yes.
3-1 to Manchester City.
I wanted Leeds to win, and I thought it was for good reasons. And you let me down, Mr. Tom.
Leeds have never let you down as much as they've let me down. Let me tell you that for free.
yeah. Despite that, you're the 15th most successful club in England.
There you go.
Without
There you
being
go.
in the Premier League for nearly 20 years. So imagine how successful club in England we were
Oh,
before we went
Yeah,
down.
okay. Yeah, fair.
We're
That's
probably in the
fair.
top 10.
So you think City are going to beat Liverpool, Tom?
I think it'll be 3-1 to Man City.
Okay, even if they don't have Haaland or Foden.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's not like they're terrible without them. If it could be argued they're probably more effective without Haaland.
Well, they probably scored 20 goals across the rest of the team without Haaland.
Yeah,
That's
but
quite-
that's because he plays most of the games.
That would be quite
that's the fun
interesting.
of
If
the
you
ball.
take away Haaland's goals and you take away Foden's goals, how many are left?
Yeah, not
Interesting.
that many.
Okay.
But that because when he plays, they have a bottleneck formation. The ball has to go through one player.
Christmas tree.
Yeah.
It's the Harry Kane. It's the Harry Kane formation.
They'll
Everything
open up
must
a
come
bit
to me.
without him there. But no,
Alonso,
I think City will win.
City at home to Liverpool, Alonso.
I think Liverpool have enough to put away the City.
There you go, Tom. See?
Liverpool, I think, have come a long way since the break, World Cup break. So, yeah, it was funny because I worked at a grocery store, and one of the guys works in a sushi bar. He likes Liverpool, so I gave him a hard time about Liverpool and all that stuff. So I said, "Yo, Ben, I hope Liverpool beat City," and he goes, "Yeah, they will." So anyway, I'm going for Liverpool. I hope Liverpool win.
Yeah,
I'm going for 2-1 win.
it's going to be tough for Liverpool to go into the Etihad and get a win, but they beat Man United 7-0, so there is
Come on, Ray,
performance.
what's your second favorite team to do?
I already said a draw. You weren't listening, obviously.
I was trying to catch you off guard.
Tony.
Since you always fucking skips me or me
Nah,
mostly
nah.
in this section.
Well, you
Nope.
skipped Gary.
Nope.
I was going to go to Gary
Nope.
next.
No, can tell you exactly what it is. Tony's been told that he was right twice tonight, so he's feeling a bit spicy.
Yeah, I like the chips he's eating.
And he's got
Right
your
now.
support, which is really, that's when you know
Yeah.
things get
Yeah.
a little strange.
Gary, what do you think? City at home to Liverpool?
I don't care what all you guys said. I just want City to lose.
Yeah. Okay.
That's what I want.
It's more wishful thinking than anything.
Yeah. No, but you know what? If not playing with Harlan or not having Foden coming off the bench, if we get Liverpool that played Manchester United, it could be a draw. If we get the regular Liverpool, it'll be 3-0. Which Liverpool are we going to get? This is almost as Mr. Tom knows. This is almost like which Leeds are you going to get?
Mm-hmm.
The Leeds that scores 3 goals, the Leeds that can't score 1 goal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the difference.
It's amazing to think that we could be 11 points ahead of City.
That'd be really nice
by the end of this weekend.
By Saturday
you playing 2
afternoon.
games this weekend then?
Saturday afternoon.
No, there's an
8-point lead on Saturday afternoon.
Saturday by lunchtime, I'll be laughing 11 points.
You're
Do you have wrestling this weekend, Mr.
Tom?
Tom,
I
have wrestling on Saturday, right?
What?
Why did Raymond went Rain Man again? Bad Rain Man.
I don't know. Tom, I always thought when you add 3 points to 8, 11.
Not in his math. His math's a little bit different.
Tom math.
His math works differently on the west.
Oh no,
London. That's the problem.
Okay, 11-point gap
That's
incoming.
Right. There you are.
Yeah.
I wish these were middle fingers.
Where have they been? I don't want to know.
It wasn't blue when it first started. Let's just tell you that.
Well, I just throw one away because it went brown.
Bournemouth at home. Bournemouth at home to Fulham, Gary.
Who?
Bournemouth at home to Fulham.
This is my upset pick. I want Bournemouth to win this one. They're playing at home.
Yep.
It's that they're not going to have too many opportunities to surprise anyone. And is it Southampton, right? And Southampton, right? Is it Southampton they're playing?
No, Bournemouth are playing Fulham.
Fulham, yeah.
Tried to follow Bond.
Fulham's they've lost 2 in a row, so Bournemouth has actually won 1 out of the last 2. So is it a blip, or is it or not? So this might be a surprise.
Like a Leeds blip. All right, Tony, I've got one question for you. Will you be supplying your upset pick tonight live?
Do I have to? No. So I do that.
No,
Did Stan really stop playing? Did Stan really stop playing because Tony picked late?
Yep.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I mean, I agree that Tony should be forced to pick during the show, but I wouldn't stop playing over it. I mean,
would you say
I still think I could beat Sam's total.
Sam, would you say that his strategy is working for him?
No, because I have less games to pick from.
Tom, would you say his strategy is working for him?
It was working for him when he was winning, when the argument occurred. Yeah.
Okay. And now?
I believe he must have thrown a week or two just to get people off his back.
Just keep it interesting, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Tony. So you don't know if you're going to supply your pick. Okay. Bournemouth at home to Fulham, Tony.
Who gives a fuck? Game number 1. This will be
There's
the
9
most.
of those this week.
Yeah, there's lots of those.
This what?
There's 9 of
Draw
them this week.
because Bournemouth's at home.
Gary cares because he's going for the upset. Alonso, Bournemouth at home to Fulham.
This is the game of the week I look forward to the most. So I'm going for Fulham.
I love it. I love
I'm
it.
sorry. Oh, I didn't mean to laugh in front of you.
That segment's already been taken. Sorry,
Don't smile and laugh.
Alonso.
Say with straight face. Straight face.
Sorry, Alonso.
Beautiful.
I already said it.
Beautiful.
I didn't say nothing. I
It
said this is my
doesn't
favorite
mean
game.
you're right.
This is my favorite game of the week. Besides the Arsenal.
That
And
segment's been picked.
sure,
Not
Tony.
available for your selection, Alonso.
Yeah,
All right.
it is.
He can talk about the next one after Gary. Gary, Nottingham Forest at home to Wolves.
Nottingham Forest.
16 versus
home
13.
to Wolves. This has got to be. Yeah, this has definitely got to be
Oh, shit.
Tony's favorite game of the week. Yes. Oh my gosh. Wow.
Gary's joining in now.
Wow. You know what? I need. You know, it does. You need a draw because I want to keep. I want to keep that bottom 8 together.
Yeah,
So
very
draw
competitive.
would be best for that.
Yeah.
So we can. I would like to see that run out.
Like-
You know. And,
In no way, shape, or form should Wolves win that game.
I know.
Right.
Yes.
Right,
Mark
Tom?
won't be happy, but you know, that's just the way this thing goes.
Yeah.
And so you know, Nottingham Forest hasn't won. Like, it's really hard to stay winless for a while, especially when you're hanging on by a thread, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I think Forest might be able to.
Yeah, Nottingham
Forest is home.
Forest. They've not been as strong recently. Nottingham Forest, as you would hope. Alonso. Yeah.
I'm going for a Wolves.
Is this second game of you really care about?
Not quite. But it's up there though. I mean, I want Wolves to stay up. I always had admiration for them for some reason. Yeah, I mean, I will want Wolves in this game.
You're going for Wolves in this game, okay?
Yeah.
Tom.
Well, I've always had an admiration for Wolves, is what I would say if I was lying, and in fact did not have an admiration for Wolves. So what I actually think is going to happen is I think they're going to win 1-0 because it's more advantageous to Leeds United if they win 1-0. No, but as you said, they've been trending backward with a couple of home defeats, and I think the worry might start to kick in from. Maybe.
Okay.
Tonight.
Tony,
You want what, Ray?
Tony, I want you to reference
Fulham
the.
pick.
I want you to reference the form table when you're breaking this one down. Nottingham Forest versus Wolves.
Take a second.
Okay.
I thought you'd be ready with
Google,
this.
it tells you the last
Nope.
5 games.
I don't like the last 5 games. I go by transfer market because Ray doesn't like it.
Neither do I.
You go
So
by how
it's only
many,
got to
sorry?
encourage him.
Because it goes by the games played. If your team's doesn't play that week, then you're fucked because your team didn't play.
So how
And
many
Ray doesn't
games
like
do you
them.
do it by?
We have encountered this before. Remember?
Tom, like when you have a midweek game and another team doesn't, or the fucking queen dies and you cancel all the fucking games.
That's
Hey,
not
Gary.
right.
Play the equal amount of games.
You know what?
So they do
You
it
know
by
what?
week
I'm
by week.
mysteriously I've mysteriously stopped understanding his pothole story.
It's week by week, Tom.
Hey Gary, you don't seem interested, Gary.
No.
We're going on 3 hours, Alonzo. We're going on 3 hours. All right, Gary, I'm going to try and wrap this up in the next 15 minutes. BX Gunner, be ready. 15, 16 minutes from now.
Ray, it doesn't matter where they're at form table. It's who gives a fuck. Game number 2.
Look,
Do we live in a
somebody
world where the
somewhere
word
is
awesome
interested in
doesn't mean
Tony's
what I think it means?
analysis. What?
This is Bizarro world.
Yeah.
Does the word awesome not mean what I think it means? Because
This is where
why
Superman
would
dresses in Spider-Man has on a black suit. Yes, it is. A
I
little bit
cannot
different.
believe that in this world, Tony is leading me on upset picks. He's actually in second place.
I can
And
believe
I've
it
thrown the
because
last
he
2
has the
weeks.
advantage.
And I've thrown the last 2 weeks.
You've thrown them as in you made the wrong picks. Okay, Gary.
Wait, how many teams did I have to choose from my last 2 picks?
One, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, but if there's not been an upset in the first first game of the weekend, then the chances of an upset exponentially increase.
Tom,
That's
there's
just
no way.
mathematics.
There's
Not
no
when
way
you're
you
on
were-
Sunday and you make your pick, Tom.
But if there's been no upset on Sunday, then again, your chances literally increase of picking
Tell
a
me
They
winner.
you're
don't
not
because-
trying to rationalize what Tony does.
There are less teams to
That's
Go
just
Tom.
Tony,
that's mathematical sporting win theory.
Mr. Tom,
No.
Mr. Tom, Mr.
No, it
Tom,
isn't.
Mr. Tom. It's
Yes,
it's
Mr.
wasted on, as they say, wasted on deaf ears. It's just not.
Steven,
Just
good one.
let it go.
Do you want to know the origin of this, Tom?
No,
No.
I
No,
want to go to
no,
bed.
we
No, we're not giving a fucking
It's
origin.
four-
Talk about it on
It's
Saturday night.
4:20.
We're gonna
It's
do the origin story.
4:26 a.m. I want to go to bed.
Yeah, come on, Tony.
Okay,
Gary,
I'm gonna do it quick.
God,
Tony,
20
No,
It's
it's
one
not even
hour
that. You
before
can,
the
no,
game
we don't
last
want to
season.
know.
Arsenal
We really don't
show up
care.
Oh my
with
God.
7 players out with COVID. Sam makes his pick
Who cares?
okay,
after the lineup came out.
okay, good stuff, Tony.
That's where it came from.
Steven said, Tony, I just went out to look at our potholes. I still don't know what you are on about. Yeah,
In Canada,
Um,
you guys don't have potholes. You have something else. I don't know what it's called.
Tarmacadam, right?
Oh my gosh.
Gary, I'm gonna go with Leicester City away to Crystal Palace as my upset pick. I'm gonna go for that. What do you think? I think Leicester City can beat Crystal Palace.
Of course I
Two
can.
teams who are either they just broke their 4-game losing streak, or they're in their 4th game in a row they've lost. So crap against crap in that game.
Yeah, something's got to give, right?
Is some team gonna get? There's another game where some team actually gonna get a win out of this thing.
Yep.
I want more nonsense. So I guess the only way to do that is if they draw.
Okay. Draw.
0-0. I want chaos. So Mr. Tom's team they will have to lose by probably 10 goals to see their position probably drop. That's what I want.
Tom would want
That's the only
Crystal
way he's
Palace
going to see
win.
his team drop is if they lose by 10.
Yeah. Tom would want a
So-
Crystal Palace win. He needs some separation right now.
Which
Alonso,
we're going to get when we
Alonso's
win
gone.
at the Emirates.
Did I do that? I didn't know I used a bad word.
For your reference, Gary,
Gary
Crystal
using
Palace
profanity.
is
I
18th in
said
the form
crap.
table.
Is crap a bad word?
18th in the form table.
For you it is, but for the average human, no.
Oh.
Crystal Palace at home to Leicester City, Alonso.
It's
18th
kind of
versus
sucks that
20th in the form table.
Nobody cares.
Ray does.
Shut
No, he doesn't.
up,
No, he really
please.
doesn't.
Yeah, he does.
please.
Look at
You fucking asked me, then you mute.
no, we're not asking you anything.
Tony,
We actually
Brett
want you to
asked me
stop
what my
talking.
pick was for the game. It interrupted me like for the 15,000th time this year.
We've been trying to
Can I
get you to
go?
stop talking.
Tony, can I go? Tony, can I go make my pick now? This is your podcast, right, Tony? Tony?
It looks like the duck's got a bum.
All
I
right.
guess. So I'm
Alonso.
going
Yeah.
for Leicester. I'm going for Leicester.
Looks
You
like
going
got
for
me
Crystal
pick up
Palace?
a duck's
I'm
I'm
ass.
Leicester.
You're going for Leicester. Okay. All right. Everybody thinks Arsenal are going to beat Leeds, including Mr. Tom.
Yeah,
We
he
don't need
does.
to cover that one. Gary, Brighton at home to
That was
Brentford.
I really
Oh my
cared.
God.
Second game of the week.
Jesus
Right?
Christ, Tony. Come on, man.
You missed it when you were gone. You missed it earlier in the show. But first, who cares?
What, your joke?
I think
No,
Tony has.
I actually had it.
Okay, I'm going to cap this at another 10 minutes. If we finish it, we finish it. All right.
I want another draw in this one. Because if they get a draw and if City does get the win, then Liverpool will drop to 8th.
Wow. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Brighton and Brentford both have done well this year to be
Yeah.
7th and 8th place.
Brighton still has what? They
Average.
have 3 games in hand
Mhm.
to
I don't
3 games
know.
in hand.
I don't know if European football is going to be good for either one of these two teams.
Not with the cost it puts on their players in a way.
Mhm. Yeah. Tom?
Well,
Brighton and
neither of them
Brentford.
have the squad. Neither have the squad really to do
To sustain it.
similar to West Ham to do Thursday Sunday football.
Yep.
Thankfully.
Yep.
But sorry, who's the home team? Brighton, you say?
Brighton are at home to Brentford. Brentford are a decent
Brighton will
effort.
They are, but
Okay.
Brighton will win 2-1. Home advantage to get them over the line.
I actually think De Zerbi could be interested in the Tottenham job as an aside there. Tony, Brighton at home to Brentford.
For Brighton's sake, they probably want to lose there. They really do.
Brighton are going to throw this game, according to you.
They got 2 games in hand. Do they want to be fighting for 4th place? Look where they had 6 more points. Add 6 points to it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where are they at?
They're right there, top 4. Yep. 48 points. Yeah, right between Tottenham and Newcastle. It'll be interesting to see what happens. In a sporting sense, you want to win every game, but is it the best team for is the best thing for the club? Who knows? Alonso. Yeah, Tony, what?
Is this the most clusterfuck of a year you remember?
Yeah.
I can answer that on Sunday. We'll cover that on Sunday.
Nobody. Just us and City, and
we'll open a whole section on Sunday because you're going to talk about World Cup. You're going to talk about a lot of things. But yeah,
how are we going to talk about World Cup when I don't watch any of it?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
That sounds like a good conversation. Let's have it right now.
Alonso.
I am going for Brighton 3-2 over Brentford.
Is this one you care about?
Kind of, yeah. I think, both teams, like you said, have been playing really well this year. And it'll be a good match to watch. And, Ivan Toney versus Danny Welbeck. I still like Danny Welbeck. I think that I was talking to a customer of mine, and he supports Brighton, and I was telling him how much I still like Danny Welbeck. I think that he Arsenal was kind of cut short due to injuries and all that, but it's a shame. But for him being like a leader on that team is pretty cool, and I like McAllister as well. So they've always been a good team. I think I kind of start liking them. So yeah, I hope Brighton make it far. I hope to make Europe.
Just a timeout because we're talking nonsense and maybe we'll go to talk about something that actually has happened. Reece Nelson, 3 games, 3 goals, 2 assists. Rich Charlison, 60 mil, 17 games, no goals, 2 assists.
Yeah. Amazing,
Crazy,
really.
right?
Yeah. We have got
Crazy.
And
6
those
more.
2 were 12 and 13 in the form table.
This is what he's going to bring up anytime we talk. This is going to bring up this form table.
Ray asked
What's
me.
the weather like? Well, the form table says it was cloudy
Ray,
and
Ray's
partly
the fucker
Yeah.
that asked
sunny.
me.
We got 5 more minutes, right?
Ray opened the door.
Chelsea at home to Villa. Gary, we really don't care too much about this one. Will Chelsea beat Villa? I think Unai Emery might get a draw here.
It would be nice to see it's Chelsea lose at home, wouldn't it?
Yeah, would be nice. I don't know if Emery is proactive enough. Tom, Chelsea at home to Villa.
I believe it is going to be a 1-1 draw based on the fact that Villa seem to have a knack of scoring in every game. I think they've scored in every game under Emery.
Yeah,
could be wrong.
1-1 draw. Okay.
But also the fact that their defence is actually quite poor. And Chelsea obviously have an abundance of wealth in their squad, so it has draw written all over it.
Okay, Alonso, Chelsea at home to Villa.
Yeah.
What
You
is there,
know,
Tony?
I want Villa to lose. Villa win. Sorry, I'm going for Villa. I hope Colin Chambers scores a goal for Tony. Yeah, and so I'm looking forward. I hope that Villa win. I say 2-0.
Tony has asked him to do the worm celebration if he scores. So if Callum Chambers scores and he does that worm celebration, Tony knows it's going to be just for him.
I just
Callum
want to
Chambers
Curly
does the
watch
work.
that.
What he does
Grealish.
the work, like from wrestling.
Huh?
No, that's horrible. It takes too long.
Oh, okay.
Tony, Chelsea at home to Villa.
4th versus 9th in the form table.
Here
Villa's
we
4th.
go.
Another who gives a fuck game of a week. And Villa
You
will
do.
Who's-
win.
Fucking know
Who's
everything about
fourth?
it.
Who's
Villa
fourth
will
in the
win.
form table?
No,
Chelsea?
do not.
No way.
Come
Villa
on,
is 4th.
Ray. We're trying to.
Because Tony going to full
Okay, you're right, Gary.
conversation.
You're right. I fell for it.
What are you doing? We're trying to not know.
Okay, we got 3 minutes left. Gary, West Ham at home to Southampton.
West Ham. Oh man, West Ham.
Oh,
South.
God.
This is Tony's favorite, and this is definitely Lonzo's game of the weekend.
Yes.
Definitely.
All right.
I
Bring
want fireworks. I
Journey
want
back to
fireworks.
How does
Mark.
I want
Gary know
fireworks.
that? How do you get that
I
right?
want fireworks. I want a
Um,
3-3
Alonso.
up-and-down match.
West Ham will beat Southampton, right? Do you care?
Yeah.
Alonso?
I care because Declan Rice, if they lose, we're coming at a cheap price. So of course I care about this match, man.
Wow, yeah. West Ham are right there in the relegation zone.
Yeah. So
10 games to go.
yeah, I hope West Ham lose. So I'm going for Southampton.
Yeah, for the sake of West Ham fans, I hope they don't lose. But yeah, definitely go for Southampton. Tony, West Ham versus Southampton. Here we go.
Another who gives a fuck. And a question. I have an inquiry here, Ray. Is that a 7 or a 9 by Leicester City?
7 or a 9? Oh, by my handwriting?
That's not a fucking 7, Ray.
That's a
Learn to
7.
write. Is
It's
that
a
a 7 in Ireland?
You should be a politician, Tony, because you're obstructing the conduct of this session.
I've sat there and
He's
ate chips for an
obstructing
hour
my
and a half
sleep into what he's doing.
doing nothing.
Yeah. He's obstructed your sleep, Tom. Newcastle versus Man United. Tony, we'll go you first. Gary, get you through first. Newcastle, Man United, Tony.
I know that, but
Come on, Tony. Jeez, man.
I want United to win.
Yeah,
Which
listen,
one?
this will have a very big say
yeah,
in
Yeah, which
who
one,
gets
Tony?
into the top four.
Manchester, because then you'll have Newcastle in the top four this year.
That makes
I
no
want them in
sense.
the top four
Okay, you want Man United to win?
Yep.
Okay, Alonso,
because they'll
Draw.
have
I'm
new
going for a
owners.
draw.
draw. Okay. Gary,
I want the team in red so I want them to make us laugh.
Man United to lose at Newcastle. Okay, that'll make top four interesting. Tom,
Well, I think West Ham are going to beat Southampton 2-0, and Manchester United are going to lose 3-2 at Newcastle United. 3-2 to Newcastle.
okay. And we know Everton will beat Tottenham, that team. We don't need to talk about it.
Is that a
So,
4, Ray?
That's not upset,
The,
Ray.
It's a
the,
4.
the Tottenham of the
That's not
North
Yeah, you're going for
versus
Everton, Alonso. Got it.
the Tottenham of the North versus the Everton of the South.
That's a very good way to put it, Tom. Very good way to put it. You do wonder if this, what's his name, Stellini? I think he's made a stronger stuff. Maybe Tottenham will have this bounce.
Sorry, Ray, I forgot to say, but that wasn't also Who Gives a Fuck game of the week. 5
Too
versus
late.
3.
You
Wow.
missed your opportunity.
Alonso,
Nobody-
you
nobody
forgot
got
to
it.
say
Tottenham
something
win.
as well, didn't you, Alonso?
No, because I don't care about Tottenham, so fair play, Tony, fair play. You won this one, Tony.
That's 3 times that Tony's been right tonight. So I think we should.
It's been
leave
more
it
than that, Ray,
there.
because I did it before
Uh,
and you forgot about it. Liverpool. And
I'd like to thank you for having me on.
Yes, Tom.
Thank you for warming the show up in the pre-show for the hour or so before you let me in. And
It was all going so well
it was
until I did
a
that.
beautiful show.
You
I
know,
told you what was to happen, Ray.
Alonso, thanks for joining as well.
Thanks for having me, and good luck to Arsenal beating the Leeds, and also good luck to Martin Truex Jr. on Sunday. So, yeah.
Stefan, thanks for being here as well, and everyone who has joined us. Gary, thanks for joining. This was a warm up. This was the interlull, and we got obstructed massively by Tony and Tom. Right?
And Gary.
It was fucking Gary and
I
Tom.
didn't do anything.
Gary.
Tony, you brought up the phone table. We're talking about crisps. I don't understand.
I ate Chris because I was
Because
being
on the phone
entertained
table,
while
it's
you
1 and
fucking-
2, right?
you and Tom fucking argued for an hour and a half.
For the interest of keeping Tony occupied for the next 7 hours, I'm going to drop the link in the chat for anyone who wants to come and talk to Tony for the next 7 hours. There will be a backstage pass if you choose to accept and take it.
This is a golden pass because there's only one seat available.
Golden ticket.
Currently.
All right. Tom's going to go to bed. Gary's going to go also very soon. Alonso may go very soon as well. But Tony
So
will
it
be
might not
here.
be a goal. So it wasn't a golden ticket at all. It's full of shit. You
Not
got
when it's
this shit
Stolen,
wrapper.
but it's not for the reasons you think.
All right. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you with a more concise and informative podcast on Sunday. In the interim, check out
No, you won't.
Gary on
No, you won't. I'm
Saturday.
going to ruin that one too. Even in the comment section. I'm going to ruin that one
Yeah.
too. So don't make promises to the audience with that you can't keep.
And
All
don't
right.
forget about me and Tom and probably
Will
Alonso.
Nelson. Yeah.
Saturday
Nelson
and
podcast.
Sunday.
It's the full Nelson, not the full Nelson. It's the
At
full.
what time, UK time, Tom?
I believe it is 12:45.
All right.
12?
Thanks, everybody, for
We're
joining.
starting that late.
Thank
I thought
you
it was
for watching. Hit the like on the way out, BX Gunner. BX Gunner, come in and keep Tony company. We'll see you later. Take care, everyone. Come on, you Gooners.
See you guys.
Leeds,
All
Leeds,
leads. All
See you
leads, aren't we?
Leeds,
Come on,
Leeds,
you Gunners.
Leeds, Leeds.
Good night, everyone.